definitely.
Well, that's the way Vaishnavas see things, because everyone is an individual jiva. Therefore, when they see another jiva, I say, I'm fallen soul, I've got this body, blah, 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 blah. We say about ourselves. Then we look at the other person and say, oh, that is part and parcel of Krishna, Prabhu. That's where we say Prabhu. You're part and parcel of Krishna. But I'm a body too. My body is still good, blah, 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 blah. Said, I don't see that. I see that you are spirit soul. And that's how devotee association can uplift devotees when they get together in a conference like Istagosthi. And that's what this is. Real Istagosthi, not fake Istagosthi. So go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
I have just one question. I remember in the letter I put that I purchased 2 crates of Bhagavad Gitas. When I got them, they were there was no Sanskrit. They were very condensed, and I don't know when they were written. I forgot. I need to look at one. But I don't feel very good distributing them. Is that
well? What year were they? What was the copyright year when the printing year?
Well, it was after 1977 for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were starting to change the books even before then, but they really went mad with it. I just saw a tape with Nityananda Das, and he was talking about book change. No, there was another tape about somebody's really into tracking book changes. There's tons of them. There's a huge number of book changes in the Bhagavad Gita. The best way to avoid a problem is get your books from
You said
Krishna Books, KrishnaBooks.com, or yeah.
Deborah,
then you get original books that are not changed.
Where did you purchase it from? What website?
From Brooklyn. I got them from Brooklyn Temple.
Oh, yeah. I think I know which version you have. You have the colorful version that has been changed. Yes, you have it from the BBTI. They publish only or edited books, and the ones you have is probably published in India. Yes.
My own personal books. I don't have all of the Bhagavatam, but I whatever I have, I've gotten them from used bookstores, and I made sure of the copyright dates, and also I have the Charitamrita. And I bought that. I bought that Charitamrita set from Krishna Bookstore.
Okay. Yes, that's the original 17-volume set, right? That's the one. Yes. You can. What you can do is you can return the books if you bought it from them. Be like, oh, I'm. If they allow, they should allow the books to be returned. I bought some edited books, and I had some stockpiles of those. And I tell BBT, I call them, hey, I'm like, I don't need these books. I want some other books. So I exchanged them for, the original books. So I'm sure you can do that with they probably won't. What you can do is you can probably contact the BBTI directly. If you need the contact information, I can send it to you. But first things first, try the temple.
Yeah, I can do that myself, but I thank you.
Yes.
Ramachandra is an expert. He's a sort of a solid book distributor.
Or you can buy it from me. I can, give you the original books, and I'll give a better price than Krishna Store. So I can ship them to you.
Even when you ship them to New York?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, all right.
Okay.
Anything else you want to say, Deborah Prabhu?
Not at this moment. I would rather listen to you.
All right. Shashi Kumar Prabhu, welcome. Have you been in the Zoom program before? I think so, yes. I remember your picture.
Yeah, I was there.
Okay. Do you have any questions, comments, or Anything you want to share before we get going? You can ask anytime.
Yeah, there are many questions. Prabhu, I have Bhagavatam like of old edition only, like 42 volumes or something were there, right? Of Srila Prabhupada.
Mm-hmm.
But three of books are disappeared. I think some relatives are like that. Three books are not with me. 3 volumes are not with me. Can I get that last 3 volumes from you, like individually?
Actually, that 44 volume is out of print. It was done by Krishna Books KBI, right? If you look at the publisher, is it Krishna Books Incorporated? And they don't print the 44 volume set anymore.
So I need
So what you can do is, if someone has a missing, check on eBay. Most of the time, sometimes they have books like that. So I cannot get it for you, Prabhu. They don't print it anymore, that 44 volume set.
Why don't they print it anymore?
No, they keep changing it. Sometimes it's 44 volumes. Sometimes they change. They condense the book into smaller size, and then sometimes they, it's different techniques they use or different ways of printing, I guess. They've done. Like they have a 10 volume set now, the red versions. You've probably seen them. So
This is KBI?
yes, Krishna Books Incorporated.
So are they reformatting the books?
Yes, actually. Yes. I'll show you the picture.
I thought their whole point was printing the original books.
Well, they print the original books, but sometimes they reformat it too. So
Is the Gita being changed?
no, the Gita is not being changed. They still published the 1972 version, but the Bhagavatams, you've seen the red Srimad Bhagavatam set, right? Or no?
No.
What? Never seen it? Okay, hold on.
Not from KBI.
Oh, not from KBI? Okay, I'll show you. Images. Here it is. I'll share the screen. Here you see the red Srimad Bhagavatam said this is published by KBI. They reformatted.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
Yeah. So here it is. So this version here is all the way up to what Prabhupada did, but they changed the format. Up to 10 volumes. So this is also not the original. They say in the first couple of editions, it is the edited version. So I haven't verified it, but I will.
KBI is selling edited Bhagavatams?
Well, when they print the books, sometimes they take, what is it, typeset? So they used a edited version of that. So I think 1977 version they used, and there were edits in that. So I'll have to verify that and I'll get back to you. Someone told me and someone compared. So I'll verify that and I'll let you guys know.
Oh, that's not good. The whole idea of KBI was to print absolutely original books.
Yes, yes. All right. Okay. We have, let's see, Shashi Kumar. We have Mahaprabhu also here.
Wonderful.
Let's see. Okay. Hare Krishna, Mahaprabhu, what's going on?
Hare Krishna, I just got into town.
Okay.
A lot earlier than yesterday.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol. Oh, Shreya is joining us after a long time. Shreya, Prabhu, what's going on?
Finally.
Shreya, everybody's asking about Shreya.
Mamma mia.
How is everybody doing?
Nice to hear from you.
We're doing all right.
Now that you're on the call with us, we're doing great.
Amazing to hear that.
It's really
So
funny
good to
because
hear.
we were
Connect back.
talking about about you for the last few days, the last few sessions, and I guess your ears must have buzzed, and now you're with us. We're so glad. Is everything going well for you?
Yes, Prabhu, 100%.
Hare
Your
Krishna.
job, you still have a good job. Your job is okay.
I changed jobs, but yeah, I found something bigger and better.
Excellent.
Oh, well, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
Family is okay.
everything is okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
How nice. You sound okay.
Yeah,
You sound so
yeah.
much more
Sorted.
cognizant. You were always sounding very intelligent, but more mild. Now you sound strong, cognizant and strong.
Yes, Prabhu. There's been so much more that I've been doing in terms of contemplating on all of those things that we keep talking about. And with a lot of help, I'm definitely doing a lot better. A whole lot better.
Fantastic.
Well, that's wonderful. And you know, we've been wondering if you listen in to these Zoom calls sometimes, or you don't have
No,
a chance.
Prabhu, I don't have a chance at all. So that's why I just jump in whenever I find time. It's usually on Sundays that I would be able to. And today I happened to see the message in our WhatsApp group, and I thought, let me connect. It's been quite some time, and I jumped in.
Great. That's
Welcome.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, Shashi Kumar Prabhu, do you have your hands raised, Prabhu? You can unmute yourself and speak, Prabhu, anytime.
Hello, Prabhu. Yeah. Is it Kurmavatara appeared first or Narsimha Avatar?
What does the Bhagavatam say?
Bhagavatam says Kurmavatar is the first. Kurmavatar, wait, just a minute. I will open it. Yeah, Kurmavatar is 11th incarnation of the Godhead, and Narsimha Avatar is 14th incarnation.
Okay, so you know the answer to that already. So what's your further?
The question is that during Kurma Avatar, Bali Chakravarti was there, but Bali Chakravarti was the grandson of King Prahalada Maharaj. Narsimha Avatar appeared later after Kurma Avatar. Isn't it contradict?
Well, that's a very good question. Yeah. You mean yes. It's contradictory there. So I'm not sure. I'm not a scholar of Bhagavatam. So maybe there's someone else that can answer here to that question. Is there anyone, Prabhu? We should find that answer to that question. So I'll write it down here.
I didn't hear the question.
You didn't, or you did?
Did not.
All right. Can you repeat the question, Shashi Kumar Prabhu, about Kurma Avatar?
As we all know, that Kurma Avatar appeared first before Narsimha Avatar, and even according to Bhagavatam, Kurma Avatar is 11th incarnation of the Krishna, and Narsimha Avatar is 14th incarnation. But Bali Chakravarti was there during Kurma Avatar. But Bali Chakravarti was the grandson of King Prahalada Maharaj. So Narsimha Avatar appeared later. Isn't it contradict? How could the grandson of Prahalad could be there during the time of Kurma Avatar, which was appeared before the incarnation of Narsimha Avatar?
Okay, so where are you reading that? So I want a reference where you're taking that from, so I can see it on my screen. So can you give me the reference? What canto, what chapter and verse?
Where Bali Maharaj is mentioned, or where Kurma Avatar is mentioned?
Kurma and Bali Maharaj. Can you give me those two references?
Initially in Bhagavatam, in the chapter number 3, first canto, chapter number 3, in the page number 161 of old version.
Okay. Chapter 3, okay. Canto
Where
3,
Kurma
right?
incarnation is mentioned.
Canto 3, right?
Yeah, canto number 1.
Canto
chapter
1?
Number 3.
What?
Chapter number 3.
Okay. Canto 1, chapter 3, okay. Let me go to that verse. The chapter, sorry.
Wait, I'll say the verse. Verse number 16.
Verse number 16, 1, 3, 16, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sura Saranam Udiyam.
So you've been reading Bhagavatam, huh?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Krishna, 1, 3, 16.
This is, of course, Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavatam, right?
Yeah, yes. Srimad Prabhupada's Bhag only.
Okay, let me pull it up. Yes, I see it here. Prabhupadbooks.com. Yeah, that's a very good question. How this is contradictory.
Here it is mentioned is 11th incarnation. What 11th incarnation?
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, 11th incarnation.
Are you bringing up the text?
Yes, no. Give me a few seconds.
Sure, sure.
Start. Okay, where is it? Prabhupadbooks.com. Okay, here it is. All right, so let's reference it. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.16. The 11th incarnation of the Lord took form of a tortoise whose shell served as a pivot for the Mandarchal hill, which was being used as a turning rod by the theists and atheists of the universe. Okay, once both the theists and theists were engaged in producing nectar from the sea, so all of them could become deathless by drinking it. At that time, the Mandarchal hill was used as the churning rod, and the shell of the Lord Tortoise, the incarnation of God, became the resting place pivot of the hill in seawater. Okay, so where does it say it's okay? The 11th in line, right here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, 11th. And then Nishingadev, where does it say about Nishingadev?
Nothing there is mentioned in the 18, verse number 18.
Okay, Nishinga, verse number 18. All right. And the 14th, okay. And then where is that part which you mentioned that the
Bali Maharaj was there.
yes.
Yeah. Wait. Srimad Bhagavatam, wait. 8th canto.
Okay, hold on. Let me go to the 8th canto. Hold on, Prabhu. 8th canto, 1 second. 8th canto. Okay, 8th canto.
Chapter number 6.
8.6, okay.
Yeah, from the text number 27.
It's 27. All right. Okay, then Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, after offering the respectful obeisances to the Lord, returned to their abodes. All the demigods then appeared. Maharaj Bali approached. Maharaj Bali. Okay.
And go next, Prabhu, like that only.
Next verse, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Bali Maharaj, the most celebrated king of the demons, knew very well when to make peace and when to fight. Thus, although his commanders and captains were agitated and were about to kill the demigods, Maharaj Bali, seeing that the demigods were coming to him without a militant attitude, forbid his commanders to kill them. Okay, so should we read the purport or we go to the next verse? What's the question? So
yeah, you go to the next verse also. It is a Kurmavatar story we are reading.
Okay. Oh, this is Kurma Avatar story that we're reading right now.
Yeah. That was Bali Maharaj.
See, Bali Maharaj was there at Kurmavatar, which was appeared before Narsimha Avatar. But Bali Maharaj is the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. Isn't it contradict? How could one who is not born could be there in the Kurmavatar? And even in other Puranas, it is mentioned that Bali Chakravarti, who was there in the Kurmavatar, is the grandson of Prahlad as only. So there was no other Bali also, when we refer to other Puranas.
Well, you realize that Prahlad Maharaj is considered to be one of the Daitya demons, right? His lineage is the Daitya demons. even though he's a great acharya himself.
But they're talking about Bali Maharaj.
And why?
So he's talking about Kurma avatar appeared much before the 14th incarnation of Lord Nrsingadev. And then he's saying that in the 11th incarnation of Kurma avatar, which was Kurma avatar, Bali Maharaj is being talked about. So how is it that, how is Bali Maharaj being talked about in that incarnation of Kurma avatar? So you got to explain this more, Prabhu, where are we reading and how you're getting this so we can understand. So where are we seeing that Bali Maharaj is being talked about in Kurma avatar pastimes or being mentioned there? Is it still with us? Let me see. Sasi Kumar Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
So where is Bali Maharaj being talked about when the Kurma avatar was being Kurma avatar was doing his pastimes? Where?
I don't. Yeah, I said the text number and the canto number.
Oh, you shared it? Where? In the chat?
No, that only. Yeah, that only had read right now. It's see in the screen. It is appearing like the demigods approached Bali Maharaj. There, Bali Maharaj is mentioned, right? And also, you will also join in the churning of the ocean. But my doubt is that Bali Maharaj was the grandson of Prahlada. How could he appear before? If you
Okay,
look at the Narsimha Avatar story, Prahlada was still a young boy there.
Okay, I see. So you're talking about chronological order, right? That is not adding up. So that's a very good question. I don't know the answer to that. I will have to research that and get back to you, Prabhu.
Okay. Is that can Naranarayan Prabhu give answer?
That's
Narayan
really a
Prabhu.
good question, Prabhu. That's really a good question after so many days. Yeah. We'll have to research and come back. We don't know the ups and downs, right?
Who? What? I designed all the illustrations for the churning of the ocean of milk on the back of Kurma, but I'm not familiar with who is related to who in terms of Bali Maharaj.
Exactly.
Okay. So,
but then again, may I say, it's an interesting question, but we're dealing here with the League for the 10,000 years of the Golden Age of Kali. That's a very good question for a Bhagavatam class, but we're not a Bhagavatam class per se. We welcome your question. We try to answer it, and Ramachandra will do his best, I know. But the fact is, we're trying to deal with how to bring Israel.
What's going on with your camera, Narayan Prabhu? Are you holding it? Put it in a stand if you're holding it.
Oh, well, I was holding it sideways. Why is it moving?
Yeah. Put it in a screen so it's not like half. This is better, yes.
Okay, now it's in the stand.
Yes.
I was holding it so I could put it sideways.
Yeah, that is fine. Remember, we want to look as professional as possible.
Okay. Actually, I just looked at my stand and I can turn it sideways.
Okay, let's continue.
So that solves that problem.
All right. Okay.
Srimad Bhagavatam is a spotless Purana, right? How could it contradict? That's the problem.
Yeah, it's probably not contradicting. It's probably just our understanding. If we ask the right question to the right people, they can answer it. You know, I'm not a learned scholar in Srimad Bhagavatam. I don't think anyone is here, or maybe they are.
Let me ask one question to Shashi Kumar, bro. Bro, what is that?
Isn't that a good? isn't that a good question for a Srimad Bhagavatam class?
Sure.
How it is
Excellent.
related
Here-
to your devotion and all, bro?
Istagosthi, we are trying to speak from guided by Paramatma to discuss how to resolve the issues for ISKCON for the next 10,000 years.
Shashi
this
Kumar, bro,
occurred-
is it affecting your devotion or is it affecting your bhakti, anything? Or just a date thing? Is it a mental
No,
speculation?
nothing. Devotion
Nothing,
is a
right?
very different way.
Bro, leave it then. It's okay, Haribol. Let's
Yeah.
go.
It's a very good
I
question.
was hoping
Hmm?
with
There would be some reason. I want to know that reason. That's it.
Haribol. I mean, there are certain things in Bhagavatam which are upwards thoughts we can't understand from our mind, right? Normal brains can't understand, material brains. So it's okay.
There's a devotee that has participated on our Zoom meetings, and he's coming from a Vaishnava disciplic succession, and he knows a lot about Srimad Bhagavatam. So if you can, Prabhu, message me your contact information, your WhatsApp, and I'll put you in contact with him, and he can certainly answer that question.
Okay, Prabhu.
Send me a message, and
Jai.
then
Jai.
we'll put you
Haribol.
in contact with the right person.
Prabhu, you said Bali Chakravarti is from the Kurma avatar or Vamana avatar? I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Kurma avatar.
Okay.
Yes.
During Vamana avatar was also there. Bali Chakravarti is an immortal being. You would be there.
Okay. All right. So, anything else, Shashi Kumar Prabhu? Go ahead, Shreya Prabhu.
I mean, it's not in context to the same doubt, but I had a question to ask.
Sure, go ahead.
Of late, I've been contemplating quite a bit on so many different topics, and my question is, how do I realize who I am? Who am I?
Who are you? Well, your spirit soul, right?
Your spirit soul, yeah.
Because
Sorry?
what Prabhupada says about the soul, consciousness is the indicator of the soul.
Prabhu,
So
when
you
we
are-
say soul, Atma, Paramatma, all these are terms. But what does the soul actually mean? How do I
Soul
find that
means-
out?
Jiva. You see,
Means?
that's pretty basic, is that the soul is an infinitesimal part and parcel of Krishna, right? So Krishna is infinite and contains everything within him, including us. And we're infinitesimal, meaning we are so small we cannot be measured. Now, in our bodies, we can measure our bodies in the material world, but that's not the soul. The soul is the spark of life, of consciousness, and the soul becomes bewildered due to the mind, considering that he considers that the soul becomes bewildered and is convinced by the mind that it is the body, but we're not the body. We have no connection with the body at all.
I think she's talking about that realization. Theoretically,
Right.
she's understanding that part that I am spirit soul, everyone is spirit soul. But she's trying
What
to.
is that?
But what is
What
that?
I'm trying to say is we have a lot of words to replace it and tell us that, it's just another level of imagination. But in reality, have we all realized that? Who am
Yeah.
I? That question is what I'm kind of stuck with. And it is also, said many a times that whatever we are seeking is seeking us. So what is seeking and what are we being? I'm a
Well-
little lost with that question.
Well, the Sanskrit tatvamasi, you say, what am I seeking? And
Yes, it is Tatvamasi that I'm talking about, but what exactly is that is where I'm not able to
Well-
realize. It's not the it's not the different usage of words, but it's more about being able to relate to it in your everyday life that I'm looking at.
Okay.
Has this question occurred, I mean, to anybody else?
Yes, you're talking about living that stage of like a spirit soul. Like if I'm spirit soul and everyone else is spirit soul, how can I realize that part and live in that consciousness, right?
Right. But there are no more questions. There is nothingness completely. And
I think you're saying,
nothing really matters after that stage.
what
All
do you
your
mean?
doubts die. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Prabhu.
You will never die. The body may die, but you will not.
Exactly. So the who is the you is what I'm saying. When we say it's the soul,
It's a
part and parcel of the Paramatma. That's where I'm.
The soul is non-different than Krishna.
She knows that. She has read it, she has understood it, but she's trying to realize that part in like practical day application and seeing how that is, how everyone is part and parcel of Krishna, not just saying it. Okay, I'm spirit soul, everyone is spirit soul. But is that person who's saying that actually seeing that person as part and parcel of Krishna, or has some tinges of body consciousness and identification?
It is also that stage of living where you know that nothing's going to actually affect you, whether it's your job, it's an emotion, it's a situation, it's an earthquake. Nothing is actually going to do any difference to you. And to realize that and to live it at every minute of your life, living in the present, is what I'm trying to refer to when I want to know.
Srila Prabhupada solved that when he was on the Jaladuta. He prayed. Are we remembering Paramatma, the Vishnu in the heart? Paramatma. It's not just the soul and the body, but it's the soul in the body in the presence of Krishna in the form of Paramatma. Prabhupada, we want to do something, Paramatma facilitates it for us. You see? Prabhupada said and asked or begged Paramatma, make me dance like a puppet on a string. So he was asking Krishna in the heart. There's Krishna's in the heart of every living being. Krishna's in the heart of the honeybee. Krishna's in the heart of the dog. Krishna's in the heart of the bird, in the flower, of the child, of the human being of every type, in the heart of the demigod. So Paramatma is in the heart of every living being. And Paramatma's job is to please the part of Krishna that you are. You see, you may be infinitesimal part of Krishna, but you are part of Krishna, and Krishna cannot tolerate to be dissatisfied. He doesn't like to have, he doesn't like to not have what he wants. So when the jiva leaves Krishna Loka, the devotee leaves Krishna Loka as we have, and comes to the material world as we have, Krishna doesn't want us to be dissatisfied, even if what we want is not Krishna conscious. So therefore, Paramatma guides us to everything that we want. For instance, if I want to get drunk, he'll guide me to the alcohol. If I want to get a gun and kill somebody, he'll guide me to the gun shop and I'll buy the gun.
Prabhu, I want to interrupt here. I'm so sorry. When you say we need to go to the Krishna Loka, are we not already in one? Is that another place somewhere? When you say we need to go to the Krishna Loka, you're saying we need to go to the Krishna.
You are going to go to Krishna Loka.
Yeah, so I'm asking, are we not already in one if we are a part and parcel of Krishna? Is that another place, or is that of another time?
We are part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna is in Krishna Loka. But remember, we're living in illusion. And what is the illusion? We want to be, you want to be in the Shraya body, I want to be in the Narayana Das Vishwakarma body. Everybody wants to, Ramachandra wants to be in a Ramachandra body. We got these bodies by material desire. They were not awarded to us by Krishna, but they were awarded to us by our desire and our past activities.
Exactly.
So we were born
So
under
when you say we have Maya over here, isn't it
Yes.
isn't it a frame of mind? Isn't it something that the mind plays with us? Is it not the game of the mind to keep us in the illusionary world? Because as far
No,
as I
it's
see
us.
it, it's us who
It
need
is
to realize that
the
where
soul.
Maya is.
So it's not quite right. The soul is what wants. So because we're separated from Krishna, I want to be a man, I want to be a woman, I want to be in India, I want to be in America. And if we have the karma for doing those things, that's what we end up doing. You see, in the material world, everything is based on planetary influence of karma. The karma comes through the planets, Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, like that. Moon, sun. Those things give us the body, and the body has an appetite. If I am a dog, I will eat differently than if I'm a human being. Correct? Right? Because my desire will be different based upon my body. So that has nothing to do with Krishna. It has to do with me, part and parcel of Krishna, wanting to eat prasadam, and a dog wanting to eat dead flesh. You see? Does that make sense? Whatever you desire is what you get from Paramatma, from Vishnu in the heart. He is guiding every move you make. If it were not for Paramatma, we wouldn't be able to do anything.
I think she's looking for an answer. I'm not sure we have provided her a satisfactory answer. I think she's talking about that realization that I'm not this body.
The realization I'm not this body
that
comes when you no longer.
We can realize that, Prabhu. We can understand that by reading all the text. But I'm saying every minute of life that we live, we just get entangled in the world of Maya. And for us to be liberated from the world of Maya, there needs to be a realization. It is not of the intellect, I feel,
not a
but
realization.
it is more.
It sounds more like Mayavada philosophy. Not a realization. You just need to stop wanting what your body wants and chant Hare Krishna. But if you chant Hare Krishna and minimize what your body wants, I mean, if you listen to your body every minute of the day, then of course you're going to be bodily conscious. But if you listen to the Hare Krishna mantra on your beads every minute of every day, then you gradually lose contact in your body. So what Prabhupada did was he said, make me dance like a puppet on a string. So what did he mean? He said, Paramatma's here to give me words, to give me actions, to give me ways of fulfilling my material desires. That's what Paramatma does with every single living being, including the germs in our bodies, the bugs in the sky, the plants in the ground. He's giving them all of what they want because for no other reason than that's what they want, that they want that. So now, how do you get separate from that? You realize that you're not your body. If you know that you're not your body, Aham Brahmasmi, I'm spirit soul. That's what all these words are for. Aham means I am, Brahmasmi means Brahman, or soul. So if I am the spirit soul, I have no need to connect my intelligence with my body. I can say, let the body. Now, what happens if you don't? Okay, now you might think, well, I have to identify with my body because if I didn't, how would I get dressed in the morning? How would I cook breakfast? How would I eat? Well, the body, if you don't identify with the body knows what it wants and it knows how to get it. And not knows, but it's a machine. If you have a car, the car needs gasoline, petrol. The car needs oil. You may be sitting in the car and you don't really care one way or the other about the oil or the water or the electricity in the car, but the car, that's how the car operates. So the body operates on so many mechanical things because the body is under the spell or under the control of the three modes of nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, which produce the chemical reactions within the body. In the Bhagavad Gita, it states that we are riding on the soul is riding as though on a machine, meaning like a motor car. The soul is riding as though in a motor car. We're not the motor car. You're the driver of the motor car. Does that make sense, Shaya Prabhu? If you know that you're the driver, then you don't have to worry about if you're identifying with the car or not.
I have a question for Shreya.
My car. I'm driving my car to get somewhere, not to be the car. So go ahead.
So I have a question for Shreya or anyone else here. I mean, we have all seen a dead body before, right? The consciousness is missing, and consciousness is the symptom of the soul, right? We see a dead body that's missing. So how can we explain that or realize that? Shreya Prabhu, can you answer that question?
How can we realize what a dead body is?
No, I'm saying we have all seen a dead body, right? The soul
Right.
and consciousness is no longer there, right?
Correct.
And then how can we understand that? Basically, that's what you're asking.
I think I'm asking the reverse of it, Prabhu. What I mean to say is, we do all realize that we are the Supreme Soul, which means we
Not the
have some
Supreme Soul.
attributes.
Part and
I'm
parcel.
sorry to say, a part and parcel of the
Yes.
Supreme Soul, yes.
Yes, yes.
So when we say that, there must be something about this life that we are in to realize that we don't need to be in the illusion of the Maya, right? We don't have to be getting caught up in all the worldly situations, the troubles that we think is forever.
Easy. Just ask, pray to Paramatma it says in the Gita, to disengage your senses from the object of the senses. If you identify with your body, you'll think the body is you. If you say, I'm not the body, ask Paramatma. He is, I assure you, Paramatma is 10 million times more conscious than we are. Paramatma is in everybody. Paramatma is everywhere, in every jiva. If we have 100 million germs and microbes in our body, Paramatma is in the center of every single one of those. And he's in our own heart as well. So we can simply ask Paramatma, make me dance. You be the active one. You're God, you're Krishna. You be active and I will be your instrument, not the cause of my activity. I think, Shaya Prabhu, somebody has talked to you some other philosophy.
No, I think she's trying to understand this because we're spirit soul and, we're identifying with this body. How can we detach and forget about all this other stuff? I'm spirit soul. She's trying to live on that platform without identifying with the other stuff, the access,
So can you do that without asking Paramatma to guide you?
No, that's not possible.
I have a question in that reference.
Okay.
If we are going to ask Paramatma, I do agree. I mean, I'm not denying there is no Paramatma and we have to take the blessings and we need to seek all of this from Paramatma. I get that. But my question is, where are we actually seeking this from?
Huh? Where are we actually?
Who are we seeking it from?
Who we already know, we're talking to Krishna. And we believe it's Krishna who is the Paramatma, right? So it's from deep contemplation, it's in meditation, it's in chanting the mantra that we talk to Krishna. right?
We always talk to Krishna.
So where
If
is
you want,
Krishna?
if you want to know where your house key is, you ask Krishna, Paramatma, please, I want my key. You think you're using your memory, you're actually using Krishna's memory.
Right. Exactly. So if we are using
everything
Krishna's
you-
memory, isn't it supposed to mean that we need to be utmost conscious of Krishna at every minute of our life? No, I would say every second of our life. And if every
you
second of our
can,
life, if
but
we're supposed to be, is what I'm saying.
What if you're a mouse or a cat or a dog or a bird? That's true also, no?
I don't know about that.
Right?
No, let's stick to human beings first. Let's stick to human.
They are
Right. I would say,
just
Prabhu,
like us.
if you talk about animals, I would say they do not have the intellect, or they do not have the world of Maya. They just trust God, and they just live without the worry of tomorrow
But
or what happened yesterday.
Prabhu, who is the God that they trust?
And also we have heard of stories where animals do carry memory, which means there is some portion of memory
Of course
even
they
in
do.
animals.
So
Right.
plants do also.
Right. Right.
So
I'm only
how-
talking about the human
So-
beings here, where we already
No
keep
difference.
believing. Right. So if
There's
we are
there's
saying
no
there's no
difference between
difference,
that plant and the human being. The difference
Right.
is the conversation that we have with Krishna every minute of every day, what to do next.
Mhm.
Every beast, every insect, every butterfly, each one is asking Krishna to fulfill its particular desires based on its particular body, right? And that's what you and I are doing too. We're all doing the same thing. We're depending on Krishna to be our order supplier. One of the first things Prabhupada advises is we have to give up thinking of Krishna as our order supplier. Oh, Krishna, I want this, I want that, I want this. I mean, when you go shopping, don't you say, oh, I want this,
Prabhu,
I want that, when you
Prabhu,
go to the store?
we are deviating with that. I mean, I'm not doing a transactional business with Krishna. I get that. My question is, if we believe that we are a part and parcel of the Paramatma, the Atma itself, then what is Atma and what is Paramatma? If we are just giving it the name of Krishna, then if Krishna is a person, he's not. He's not a person. He's definitely not in a human form, like we have the body, the flesh, and all that. There is something else about it. Are you able to hear me?
Are you aware of Goloka Vrindavan and Radha and Krishna?
Yes.
Have you read?
Yes.
If you read the Srimad Prabhupada's Bhagavatam, it goes deeply into all of Krishna's pastimes. That same Krishna in Krishna Loka, you are part and parcel of him. But you decided to leave Krishna Loka, so he sent you to earth or wherever with Paramatma to guide you so that you could have whatever dumb thing it is that you want.
And the mind constantly distracts us.
Well, the mind is part of the material experience.
That's where the Maya kicks in, right? I mean, that's where we're trying to understand what Maya is and how to not be delusioned by Maya. Correct? So I'm only saying
only way to not be
it should not be that only when I'm meditating that I'm connected to Krishna. It should be that every breath I take, I'm connected to Krishna. And everything I desire must be the will of Krishna. That's how I have to.
It's not. That is completely wrong. That is not right.
What did you say?
That is what Mirabai says. That's what Mirabai says, right? She says,
I'm not Mirabai.
I know, Prabhu.
So can you say
that's breaking the context there.
Okay, look. What if you're a pure devotee? Then whatever you want is what Krishna wants. If you want something that is something that Krishna doesn't want, It's because you're being guided by the material energy, like Maya, like Durga, like Kali. You're being guided by material energy.
In my personal experience, Prabhu, whatever you said has happened. When I want something, when I deeply desire it, and if it is not the right thing for me, it happens. Okay, it happens.
And you
But
know
when
why?
I entrust, 1 second, Prabhu, when I entrust this desire in Krishna and say that I want this, but I'm not sure whether it's the right thing for me or not, it happens to fulfill my desire, but he still protects me out of any danger that could happen because of the desire. So I know for a fact that I'm
Not
100%
necessarily.
connected.
If you desire
Yes.
to walk into the traffic in front of cars, he will not protect you from getting hit. Because you've misused your intelligence to walk in front of a car.
That's your free will. Hari bol.
Hare Bol.
Hari bol. Jai
Correct.
Mark Prabhu. Hari bol. Jai.
Jai Mohit.
Hari
This is all-
Krishna.
This is largely Mayavada philosophy right now.
Okay, 1 second. There's some devotee that wants to say something. Shashi Kumar Prabhu, can you speak? I think he's been holding what he has to say. Go ahead, Prabhu. And Devadharna also wants to say something. Please go ahead, Prabhu. Sir. Give them the floor.
Can I say, Prabhu?
Sure.
Yeah, the soul and the super soul. There are three philosophies, main philosophies: the Advaita, Dvaita, and Vishishtadvaita. Then Achitya Bheda comes from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So first, the Advaita, Adi Shankaracharya come and he said, Brahmam Satyam Jagat Mithya Jiva Brahma Ivana Apara. Means he equated Jiva with Brahma. He said all the Jivas as Brahma, everyone. There is no difference between Jiva and Brahma, like that he said. Then Srila
When you say
Madhvacharya
Brahma,
came.
what do you mean by Brahma?
Brahma, who is the effulgence
Brahma
of the
is-
effulgence of the supreme personality of Godhead.
Brahma is the Jiva who created
The
the
effulgence of the
universe that
supreme
we're
personality
in.
of Godhead.
He is a Jiva, you are a Jiva.
No, he's
You are
talking
not
about
the same
Brahman. He's
person.
talking about Brahman. He's talking about Brahman.
Oh, Brahman.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
Brahman
talking
is
about the
Brahman is the impersonal energy of Krishna.
Yes. Let him finish.
Brahma,
Prabhu.
Brahma Jyoti. If you go to Brahma Jyoti, you can swim around in there as long as you like, but you have to take another breath after you finish swimming.
Yes, go ahead, Prabhu. Finish your realization or your point.
Srila Ramanujacharya, who is the founder of Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, he said, there is a difference between soul and super soul. But when soul attains salvation, then he becomes super soul, like the Srila Ramanujacharya said. But Srila Madhvacharya, who comes in Brahma Sampradaya, he said there is a difference between soul and super soul. Even after attaining salvation, soul cannot become super soul, but he can attain that state. Soul is always a
No.
part and parcel of the supreme personality of Godhead. This was the
You
view
can't-
of Srila Madhvacharya.
You cannot become the state of super soul. Super soul
We cannot
is in
become
the
super
heart of
soul.
every living being in existence.
This is the view of Srila Madhvacharya. These are the three different perspectives. The school.
Okay,
What
yes.
perspective do you want? Don't you want your own perspective?
Our own perspective is wrong.
We cannot.
So Shashi Kumar Prabhu, let's come back to the point here.
Tonight we're wallowing in Mayavada philosophy.
Anyways, you wanted to make a point, Shasikar. Is that what you wanted to say about the difference of the Shankara, Ramanuja, and Madhva Acharya Sampradaya philosophies on the soul? Is that what you're trying to make? Or are you gonna?
Soul is.
So, are you gonna elaborate on it? That's covered in Prabhupada's books. What?
And as Srila Prabhupada said, Srila Prabhupada says there is a how soul is different from super soul. Super soul is Paramatma, Soul Atma. He said, soul, I am the soul, I am having the body. But in the case of super soul, there is no difference between body and the soul. We are having material body, but Krishna is not having material body. His body is soul itself. So How can we become so this is right? This is what the realization, right? We are
Well, Chandra,
realizing
can
we
you
are the part and
can you
parcel of the
explain?
super.
Prabhu, honestly speaking, I haven't followed anybody else because I don't believe in anybody else but Srila Prabhupada. My
Yeah,
only
Good.
Srila
worry
Prabhupada,
is
where Srila Prabhupada comes? He comes in Madhvacharya Sampradaya, right?
that
No.
I'm not arguing on those lines. I'm talking about the soul itself. If you are the soul, then why do you have to be worried of anything
Why do
else?
you have to be? Why do you have to be what?
Worried of anything else?
Worried?
Why? Because
If you
because
realize,
we have material desires.
right?
Therefore, we have material bodies, which are the instruments. Just imagine that you get a bunch of money
So,
and you want to buy a
so
brand new
Prabhu,
car.
everything you
Great.
said, I'm agreeing to that. My thing is, how do
Well,
you keep your realization always on?
By
how do you keep this? First, you have to obtain the soul realization. And the only
operate.
way to do that is to realize that you are not your body. It's sort of like asking, how will I learn that I am the person driving the car and that I'm not the car itself? You could go to a car dealership
We
and you can
definitely
buy a
know that.
Mercedes, a Rolls
We
Royce.
definitely know that. Prabhu, I have understood that part. There's no,
Okay.
not even a single bit.
Okay. So
I doubt
you
about
are the
it.
driver and you have a car. Therefore,
Right.
the driver can do whatever the driver wants to do, right? The driver
Correct.
can get out of the car, get into the car. The driver can get out and kick the car, can break the windows of the car. He can do whatever he wants to the car. Just like
Mhm.
you can do whatever you want to your own body.
Okay.
So what's the question again?
She's asking about the realization aspect of it and how you can
Yes,
live that
Prabhu.
realization. And I understand exactly what you're
The
saying.
realization of what?
Ramachandra is always
I
point blank
know
on target.
you
Very
got
well.
that. I know you got that in the beginning itself.
Cool.
Just that I'm still waiting for the answer. I'm not getting any further from where I'm stuck. So
If
No,
you're not
follow
getting any
Prabhupada's
concrete
Bhagavad
answers,
Gita as it is.
Krishna will
You
give
read
one
the
day.
Bhagavad Gita as it is. These are basic
Haribol.
questions that Arjuna asks, and they get answered by Krishna himself.
Yeah.
Right.
These are elementary questions for the study of the Bhagavad Gita.
Stay focused on the Gita.
I think, Shreya Prabhu, I think you're talking about the realization aspect of it, and that will come in due time. You have to keep up with the process. You know, you
Right.
don't
What
think
is it that what is it she wants to realize?
she wants to come to the Brahma Bhuta Prasanta Atma, no sochati na kanchati stage.
And
Chant Hari, that's the only process.
Brahma
Chant
Bhuta
Hari and be
Prasanta
happy.
Atma stage, Prabhupada talks about it. It's a very high realization that you have no cares about, like the self-realized, this Gorkishore Das
Exactly,
Babaji.
Prabhu.
Gorkishore
Exactly.
Das Babaji, he was a contrarian. What he was doing, he didn't care. He didn't wear clothes. She's talking about that type of realization.
well, I'm sure she wants to wear clothes.
No, I'm saying,
Haribol.
but that's the
I
type of
beg to
realization
differ.
she's talking about. So I think you're talking about a very high elevated state, which
Exactly, Prabhu.
Unless-
I think we're
Okay,
just going
high
in rounds
elevated state
without not going
is
there.
based
Yeah.
on simplicity, not complexity.
Mhm.
If
And
you
another thing,
want to
Prabhu,
be
about the clothes part of it, it wouldn't matter once you reach that stage of realization because you don't identify yourself anymore with the body, and it shouldn't trigger
Exactly.
any sort of
Well,
emotion, even
you
if we
think-
were
Point
talking
blank.
about that.
Shaya Prabhu, do you
Hare
believe
Krishna.
that Prabhupada was
Wow.
not at that stage?
He
Was
was at all
Sorry,
Prabhupada
Prabhu, what did you
stages.
say?
Was Prabhupada on the stage you're describing?
He was on all stages.
No.
No, Haribol.
Was he on the one that Shreya is talking about?
Prabhupada knew
is
all
a soul.
stages.
We consider Prabhupada is a descended being who came from Krishna Loka. And in case you didn't notice, he wore clothes.
Actually, Shreya,
I think we're not going to in the right
no,
direction
see,
here.
you're talking about this
The
realization.
realization, and we're talking about clothes here, so yeah, it's not.
No, no. Here's the answer to your question. The question to your realization to your the answer to your question is that you have to associate with someone.
Let me ask Naranarayan Prabhu this
Okay,
question.
go ahead.
If clothes matter so much, then who exactly are we?
Clothes only matter. Prabhupada one time was given a ridiculous looking hat that one of a Vrindavan Topa, but it was with ridiculous cloth, that one of his new disciples, a girl, had sewn for him. He put it on and he looked at us. It was absolutely a ridiculous hat, and very psychedelic sort of hat. And he looked at it, we looked at him and we were all saying Jai, because we wanted him to like it and we wanted the girl to feel good about making it and all that. This was 1969.
No, Prabhu, we're
ago.
not going in the direction we have to be going.
Okay.
We're not
So
talking about what we have to be.
Shreya, do you know what Prabhupada said?
Yes, Prabhu.
He said you have to dress to please your friends.
Are we here to please friends?
We're physical beings.
He said, one has to dress to please your friends.
Prabhu,
Okay, Prabhu, I'm asking you, are we really here to please friends?
What?
Haribol, when we are on that position, we have to, right? When you're a position of a pure devotee, to.
I'm not talking in that position. I'm asking something
very-
beyond that position. That is where
We're
I'm
here to
saying
please
we need
Krishna.
to move further.
If you
Right.
have to bring people into preaching, into Krishna consciousness, you have to do certain things which Prabhupada only knows. We can't judge them, right, Haribol?
No, we're not talking about judging people here or Prabhupada at all.
We can't judge anyone on that. Yeah.
I think only Ramchandra Prabhu got connected to my question here today.
Hare
Okay,
Krishna, there's a new devotee there, Christopher.
Christopher, welcome.
Haribol.
Christopher, you've been watching our program, so please take the floor. Do you want to say something in regards to that discussion we were having? Please go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hello, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Haribol.
Krishna. Jai.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Haribol.
And
Do you want to
kindly
say anything,
excuse me
Christopher Prabhu?
If
It's
Ramchandra
difficult with all
Prabhu,
this
kindly
noise going on,
excuse me,
isn't it?
right? If I said something that's not matching here, I'm just going by what I've been thinking about. That's all.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's fine. That's fine. Let's introduce Christopher, Prabhu. Haribol.
Haribol.
Yeah, Prabhu. Go ahead, Prabhu. You're saying something? Haribol.
Go ahead, Jai.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Of course.
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
There's lots of noise going on in the background, but anyway.
You need to rejoin again, Haribol. That's a problem there in your side. You need to rejoin there. Just rejoin the Zoom meeting. Yeah.
We're getting background noise. Do you have the video playing? You got to mute or stop the video.
Oh, hang on.
Christopher, yeah, stop the video.
Let's see if I
Yes.
can unmute something. Let's look.
Mute the video and then speak here, Prabhu.
Okay,
Christopher.
right. Okay. Let's.
I guess
do
that's the problem in his Zoom, Prabhu. Sometimes this happens, right?
Okay, I've muted the video. Got off.
Okay,
No, I
go ahead.
understand. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Again, hello everyone. It's
Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
yeah, been
There you
impressed
go.
with the last three
Welcome.
things I've well three Istagosthis that have gone on here. I think, as far as I can understand with what this lady's saying, I think the most important thing, what I can see, is listening to that lady and trying to see exactly what the words she's saying and try to understand that's the very first thing. I mean, I'll put some comments in the side from what I sort of thought she was getting at. That's best I could do, but that's just what I'm thinking of this at the moment. But yes.
So you're saying that she has to speak her question and then let her finish the question and then devotees answer or try to answer.
It might be easier. Might be easier just so you can see exactly what she's saying. That's all. It's just a little thing, but
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah, that's a very good point, because whenever someone speaks, everyone starts jumping in, right?
Yes,
That's not,
it's tough. It's tough, isn't it? So,
yes, that's very tough to let. Okay, so what have you understood about her question, Share Prabhu's question? She's, what have you understood, or what can you say about it?
probably sort of what, probably a bit like what you were saying. She's an idea of this, an idea of this, of the soul, what exactly the soul is, more than not. And I suppose what you were saying, okay, how to realize it, but also there's some questions, or there was some point about Krishna, does he, that he cannot have a form, or he's not a person. So this is a central point to Krishna conscious philosophy, in that Krishna he does actually have a form, but it's actually different to the form that we think of, even though in the books it looks the same, because his form is spiritual whilst our forms are material. And what that means is that his form is eternal, just like we are eternal, but there's reincarnation, but then there's eternal there's knowledge and bliss, and this is his spiritual form, and this is, and it said that's mentioned in a book called Brahma Samhita. So this is a description of Krishna's spiritual form, but it is form nonetheless. It's not like he is formless. So I mean that's that point, that's that point there. But I just think we just need to be a little bit clear exactly what she's asking. She's probably asking quite a few questions, but okay, if we get clear on what it is, then we can sort of think a bit more easily, I think. There's just basic level, but so what else did I put? Oh yeah, I think she was talking about wanting to be at that stage, wasn't she, about Atma realization or something. And that's a good point, but as far as I understand, it's a practice thing. So the idea is to be constantly engaging the mind in Krishna, and that's and so in that way one can get to that level. But obviously this is a practice thing, and I think that's explained a bit in chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, where he talks about Astanga yoga, where that's where even Arjuna says, well, look, I can't, but my mind's not going to be, I can't put my mind in steady, so how can I do it? And so it seems like a bit crazy. If Arjuna was in a previous age of people more advanced, how on earth can we do it? And yet incredibly, Srila Prabhupada says that in this age of Kali, well, at least when in Krishna consciousness, the practice of Krishna consciousness, one can actually be doing that. And it just seems to me, in my personal way I look at it, Prabhupada just the way he explains things, even at a basic level, but in so much detail in the Bhagavad Gita, this is a very good place to be doing it. But I mean, this is just my thing, but so this is just some thoughts I've got. But again, I think the big thing is to let's give the floor back to this lady and see what she's saying, or what she wants to be asking, I guess. Yeah.
Right. Let me say this. We all are talking about the books and everything, and it is all written by our guru. We respect the guru because he's the one who's enlightening us. He's the one who's taking us out of darkness. But how long does it take to be in light? It's just a matter of a second. The moment there is light, there should not be any more darkness left in that room, right? So in that way, when we say that we are the soul, it's another term to explain this concept. I get that. But in reality, how do we realize this?
So like,
and I'm not denying anything what Srila Prabhupada has said, or I'm not against any of that we are following right now. I'm asking all of you to help me understand, if I am the part and parcel of Krishna and we are in the world of Maya, how is it that I continue to be in Krishna consciousness without getting entangled in Maya? I don't believe it is an act of practice. It is It is that switch that needs to be turned on to be in light. And I don't know how you do that, or how to get there. Is my question are you all getting my question? Because I want to understand, who am I in that case? I do not want to hear I'm the soul, I'm a part and parcel of Krishna. Those are just definitions on the shallow level. But let's get to the depth of it. What does it really mean?
It means you must have faith. Faith. Constant.
There's no doubt about faith, Mataji. There is no doubt about faith, because without faith, you wouldn't come even this far.
I think that's something can be really misunderstood. What is Maya and our relationship. I mean, I say that because there's one thing that comes to mind. I don't know the maybe
If you, I just wanted to also bring this to what you were saying, Prabhu. Whenever you say something, you said, this is what I think, right? This is what I have heard. This is what I have read. But what have you realized is what I'm asking the question of.
What I have realized.
Because what we all do is, if somebody taught me the letter A is written with 2 slanting lines and 1 horizontal line, we all believe it to be the letter A. But then, do you really know what is letter A, is what I'm asking. Do we know it, or how do we know it?
You can't. I'm very sorry to interrupt you. I'm very sorry to interrupt you in between. Everyone has his own realization. You can't. Sorry.
Okay.
Haribol. Yes, who's this? Who wants to talk? Haribol. Jai. Prove everyone has his own realizations. You can't justify this by saying that I can understand from his realizations and not mine, because everyone has his own unique spiritual realizations coming into Krishna consciousness. So Krishna and Prabhupada makes a statement or makes a spiritual realization that's a unique thing to everyone else, to everyone, right? Hope you're understanding that.
Yeah, I'm not denying that at all.
So we can't understand from someone's realizations. That's pure mental speculation.
Correct.
We can't do that.
Exactly my point here.
In your case, it's just chant Hari and be happy, right? Chant the malas, do quality chanting. You'll get to know automatically, right? This is from here what I can get. You'll get realization from various devotees there. Yeah, exactly. So just chant and just be patient. You'll get all the answers. Krishna will answer your questions within you. He's sitting there. He'll answer your questions, right?
Of course.
That's the real answer to this. Yeah.
You know, the iṣṭa-goṣṭhī part is where I always came to ask that question. Because Krishna not only answers from within, but somewhere he gives the direction to go find out. And that's why iṣṭa-goṣṭhīs are so important. And I have 100% faith in our group here, because we don't let anybody go without hearing us out. At least the seed of thought is put in, so that we always contemplate on it, even if we are not in constant conversations, and we're not having the time to be in touch with each other. So that's why I believe my question is something that maybe if anybody could help me, that would be great. But I know it's the innermost answer that I'll have to go through with.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
yes,
go ahead.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Okay, see, we were looking about this dead body and consciousness, right? So let us assume a brain dead person, a person whose brain has become dysfunctional. Now, is consciousness there? Yes, consciousness is there, but is Maya there? There is no Maya in a brain dead person. So where is the Maya coming? Maya is coming only because of this brain. So this has to be looked at from a very different perspective. If you look into evolution, the answer is there. This is what my understanding is. Thank you.
All right. So everyone had a chance to express themselves, I guess, or and there's still no answer to your
Mataji.
Go ahead, Prabhu. Yes. Sasi Kumar Prabhu, go ahead. You can speak. Don't stop when you start speaking.
Shreya Mataji, I don't know. Can I answer? But I got your point. Like that, though
Everybody
we are,
has the
even though we
Prabhu,
are,
sorry to
even though we in
interrupt.
Maya, how can we,
Prabhu, just a moment.
how
Don't
can
have
we
to
not
ask us
disturbed by
permission,
Maya by
Prabhu. Just go
realizing
ahead
God
and answer.
consciousness like that? Yeah, you know, Srila Prabhupada was once asked by his devotee, like, why, though we are in Krishna consciousness, why we sometimes fall in Maya? Srila Prabhupada replied, we are
I
always
want
in
to say
Maya.
one thing here. We are not sometimes in Maya, but we are always in Maya. The moment you
Yeah,
realize
Srila
Krishna, you
Prabhupada
should
said the
not have
same thing,
Maya
right?
there. Yeah.
Well, may I make offer
I
a
think
slight
these
suggestion?
two words are enough, right?
If you want a relationship with Krishna, you must create a relationship with Krishna. You cannot expect Krishna to be operating through you as though that you're some sort of a doll. No, you must reach out to Krishna. The whole idea of the Kanistadakari platform is to practice Krishna disciplines, no meat eating, no intoxication, like that. Now, when you get to a higher plane, you enter into a state of Madhyamadakari, how to develop a relationship with Krishna. But remember, a relationship with Krishna is not something he does to you or for you. A relationship of Krishna is something you do with him when you give up your false ego and you're willing to begin to think of ways to actually please Krishna. So if you want to see Krishna, if you want to be in Krishna Loka, then you can learn the art of pleasing him through very austere methods. If you want to enjoy the material world, well, then you can make up whatever you like and do it.
Just like to add one point, through pure devotional service, Mataji, that question will be answered one day. So only through pure devotional service, nothing else. Yeah.
Prabhu, that's 1000% right. I mean, I agree with all of you there that it's the qualitative chanting, and it is all of this. I agree, but even Krishna is a name that we have given to this supreme power, right? It is a name that we refer.
You're saying that we gave Krishna his name?
It is the name that we have given to supreme power.
Actually,
I mean, you
every name in
identify
the
yourself as
world,
Narayana
every
Prabhu.
name in
That
the world
body
is
has
given
got
by
an
Krishna. This is
identification
the
by a
verdict of
name.
Garuda Purana.
You know what Krishna means?
Correct. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying it's not the name that I'm
We did
asking
not
about.
name Krishna.
Correct, Prabhu. We are not. I'm not saying you named it or I named it or somebody did.
You
I'm
say you
saying
gave him the name. We did not give him the name.
Not even Gargamuni named it.
okay. When I say you, it's not you that I'm referring to, but whoever initially
You mean
said
some human
this
being
supreme
gave
power is
Krishna
called
his name?
exactly right. I'm only saying
Yeah.
that's how we even defined
And you
soul
got this
with.
from
We
reading
defined
Prabhupada's book?
Paramatma with. All these are no, Prabhu. I'm asking by just thinking through all these things. I want to know what the soul is. I mean, it's not about the energy. It's not about. I'm sure somebody is able to connect to what I'm saying. I'm not able to explain it.
The soul, if you may, the soul is your identity. It's who you are. You're
Prabhu, when I ask
conscious.
you what an apple is, you can actually show me that this is the apple, right? In the same way, we are able to explain a few things like light. I can show you the light and say this is light. But when you say this is the soul, you're telling me to look at a dead body and compare it to a live body and say this is the soul. But I'm saying if that is the soul, then what
is not there
exactly
in the
is
dead body.
right?
But
it's not there. That I get it.
Quite
So
frankly,
we're only talking about what exists and what
right
does
now
not
I'm
exist. And saying
speaking,
this is how.
Shreya, right now I'm speaking to you as the soul. I'm not speaking to you as your body or your mind.
Correct.
I'm speaking to you
I mean, the body
as
cannot
the
even
jiva.
speak. The body cannot
So
even
I'm
speak,
speaking
right?
to you. Do you hear me speaking to you as the soul? Or do you think I'm speaking some other way?
No, Prabhu, I hear what you're saying.
Well, do you understand what I'm saying?
I do. I do.
And what am I saying?
That you're talking at the soul level. But I'm asking you, what exactly is the soul? Or how do you know
The
that,
soul.
you know,
The soul is
you are
Krishna.
the soul?
There's no difference between the soul and Krishna. The only difference is size. The soul is
The only difference
infinitesimal.
is?
What?
I'm sorry, what did you say is the only difference?
Okay. The jiva, you, me,
Mhm.
all jivas, we are infinitesimal parts and parcels of the infinite being who is the all-attractive source of life. All-attractive, the word all-attractive is Krishna, Sanskrit. And the all-attractive source of life is the source, is we are contained with individually, we're contained within Krishna's existence. Okay? So when you want to know Krishna, you need to create a path of relationship with Krishna. If you want Krishna to give you the world, that's called Maya. Krishna is not going to give you the world unless you have more karma than anybody else, that you can go and take over the world. If you have that much karma, there's been so many kings in every culture that tried to take over the world, and they've had various degrees of success and failure, and right now all of them are dead. All the ones from history are dead. So if you want to know Krishna, it's up to you through chanting, through prayer, through love, through devotion, like Mirabai. You need to connect with Krishna through your devotion for Krishna.
Yep.
And then you will be able to see Krishna face to face when you become purified. And you will become purified. You're already pure. You have tastes for material things in the material world. You know, in Krishna Loka, time doesn't exist. In the material world, time is everywhere. And Krishna says about time, I am the destroyer of all things. So we don't need to get caught up in the things of this world. We can become caught up in our seeing you as the eternal servant of Krishna, not just a nice lady, young lady from India.
So you,
Right, Prabhu. That's exactly what I'm saying. We are all stuck with definitions, but that's something beyond definitions is all that I'm trying to make a point here with.
There's no definition. What is the
Yes.
definition?
Yes, I think she's asking for the meaning of the word Atma. That is exactly. And the other scripture we can refer to which answers this question is the Yoga Sutras by Patanjali Maharshi. In the third verse of first chapter, he makes a statement that once the chitta vrittis are all destroyed, then you revert to your original state. That original state is what Atman is. So what is that? Nobody can describe it for you. You
Okay.
have to
If you
realize.
I
want
know
to-
that. I know that,
Okay.
Prabhu. Nobody
But
can explain
Shreya,
this. I know.
Can you
Yes,
say
Prabhu.
Aham Brahmasmi? Aham
Yes.
Brahmasmi. Well, say it then. if
Correct.
You can. How does it sound?
This.
If you say Shreya, if you say Aham Brahmasmi, I'd like to hear what it sounds like when you say it.
Aham Brahmasmi.
Yeah.
I'm Prabhu. I'm saying we are giving all these
Aham
names.
means I am. Brahmasmi means the soul.
Right. I get that, Prabhu.
You don't have to be caught up in the mind and the body to be the soul. And if a person
Right.
is brain dead, as somebody mentioned, you're still the soul.
So
the
to what
body's
you just
still
said,
alive.
so to what you just said, if you're not caught up in the mind and the body, what is left is the soul, right?
Correct.
So how do we realize that? It's not when I'm dead. It's not when.
No. You achieve it by renouncing material existence.
Getting out of Maya, right? So the next thing I'm asking is, how do we stay without the mind in the same body to realize the soul? That's where I'm
we have our mind. The mind belongs to the soul. Even the mind, I think we went through the soul.
I'll tell you why I'm asking you this question. I'll tell you why I'm asking you
Why?
this question. I'm sure
I have no
everybody
idea.
is doing right. Everybody is chanting. But when we chant, there is something going on at the background, right? There's a movie that's running in the background. We all are, thinking of what next. Okay, 15 minutes of chanting. I'm thinking of Krishna. Krishna is visualizing. All of this is being played as a drama by the mind, which is still Maya. And when you get cross that, and when you get past that, is when you realize Krishna is what I'm trying to understand here.
So, do you understand the term renunciation?
Yes.
Renunciation means that may be going on. You hear the chattering in the background while you're trying to concentrate on the quality of your japa chanting. But renunciation is not reaching a renounced state. Renunciation is the process of giving up the chattering in the background so that you can focus on Aham Brahmasmi. Or you can.
This is what I wanted to hear from you, Prabhu. This is exactly what I wanted to hear from you. And I got my answer now. Yep.
Hey, you tortured me to get it.
Prabhu, it's many a times that even the questions we ask are not clear. We don't understand how to even ask a question or pose it to the team. So what you just said is, yes, that's exactly where I'm trying to circle around.
We have to be tolerant to that. We're experiencing a process, and we are perfect beings in an imperfect world, in imperfect bodies, and identifying with our imperfect world and imperfect bodies, trying to find perfection. That is a process.
This is why I said I do understand when you say you're talking at the soul level, because the answer comes only from the soul. If we had to use our brains, we will never get there.
Hare Krishna.
No, we don't need to use the brain, because the brain is simply it's like your iPhone. The brain is simply a device for producing. It's like an abacus, or it's like a calculator. It's for figuring things out. It's a machine. The brain is a machine. I am not the brain. I am the person who wants to push all the buttons on the machine, but I am not the machine that's getting the buttons pushed. Aham Brahmasmi, that's me. I am the soul.
I have a question. So now we have talked about that the mind is belonging to the soul, right? The mind actually belongs. The mind belongs to the soul, and now when the mind. Okay.
Hey, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Where's your dad? We want to see your dad for a moment.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
He looks wonderful. Hare Krishna.
Very young man. Very young man.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You are remarkable. Isn't he amazing? He's chanting Hare Krishna. He's going to go back to Godhead before any of us go back to Godhead, because he's sincere. I have a mind full of tricks, which Shreya knows, but he doesn't. He's very direct. Your dad is amazing.
Thank you, Nararayan Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes.
So back to my question.
So Shreya, you're an angel.
Okay. So Mahaprabhu, I'll mute you because your dog is speaking in the background.
So sorry to say, Nararayan Prabhu, everybody is an angel who connects. That's it. Not me. Not just me.
So my question here is that. So my question here is that the mind belongs to the soul, right? And now the person who is endeavoring for self-realization has understood that the soul and the mind, meaning that Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit soul, and the soul has his mind. So the person who has realized that the mind is supposed to be subservient to the soul, what would the mind do? Yeah. So what would the mind do? The mind would engage in Krishna consciousness or the order of the spiritual master, right?
Yeah. or
The
simply
mind is
meditating on
influenced
Krishna.
by what it's been through all its life.
No. Mahaprabhu, I'm finishing my question. So let me finish talking. So then you can answer.
You're doing great. Go ahead.
So now the person who is Krishna conscious has realized that Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit soul. Now I have the soul, the mind belongs to the soul, so that the mind can engage in Krishna service, right?
Yes.
So if you do that,
because the mind is capable of desire, and the desire of the mind can be directed by the jiva to serving Krishna.
yes, so in that way, there's nothing material going on if it's done properly.
But if the mind is left on its own, it dives into the body and identifies with it and wants to wiggle the fingers and scratch the nose and comb the hair. That's what the mind is doing in the body, identifying with it. But go ahead, you're on the right track, talking about the mind that has been beaten with a stick in the morning and a shoe at night and is now afraid to get in touch with the body and wants to be with the soul.
Yes, so how can you understand that part? Well, you can understand it in various ways. For example, the way I look at it because I come from from a different lifestyle. We used to eat meat. So now whenever there's, different types of flesh cooking, the sensors understand, oh, there's some type of body. This is chicken body, fish body, whatever. But since I'm trying to be Krishna conscious, I understand, okay, yes, this is something that will destroy your spiritual life if you eat it.
Prabhu, what you're saying is again the basics.
Well, that is Krishna consciousness. That's the basics. If we don't understand the basics.
Okay, but Shreya has
No,
an
we
idea.
understand the basics.
Huh?
Okay, Shreya, share
I'm not
with us.
talking.
We do understand the basics.
Share your consciousness with us.
No, I'm saying how the process is working. You understand that you're a spirit soul. Now you're walking down the street. I used to be a meat eater, and I hear the chicken places. They're cooking chicken. So why don't I eat it?
So you're making a conscious effort. It's your free will that you're directing through Krishna
No,
conscious.
I understand that by indulging in these activities, this destroy your spiritual life.
Okay.
The consciousness part.
Okay. So if we remove all the senses, okay, the feel, the look, the smell, the taste, all of this, whatever the senses can be, if we remove all of that, there's still something that's going on up there, right, in the mind. There are things which are definitely nothing to do with the senses. We need to silence that is what I'm trying to get at. And silencing the mind is nothing but renunciation, right?
Well, that's the job of the soul. The soul has to take the mind, and it's sort of like you have a little child and it gets dirty in the mud. Well, what do you do?
Then
you take
who
the
is the
child in
soul?
and you wash the child. So the mind is like the little kid. It'll get dirty
when
in
you
the
say
mud.
that it's the job of the soul,
and you wash it.
Right.
You wash the baby.
Right, Prabhu. Right. When you say it's the job of the soul, am I not Aham Brahmasmi? And if I'm the soul, how do I do it?
No. It's like this. You realize you're a soul, and your mind being attracted to matter or Maya. Yes. Then you change that consciousness and be like, I am the soul, and the soul does not need this. You get it?
So exactly. Yeah. So it's basically every second of your life you need to stay realized in that.
Yes.
Right?
Well,
that's Krishna consciousness. You got it.
The Guru said that. He said, in the morning, I wake up, I beat my mind 50 times with a stick. And at night, 100 times with a shoe. I might say, he was a great saint. Why is he talking about beating things, and hurting things? I mean, it sounds like you have a bad servant or a bad slave and you start beating the slave because the slave doesn't do what you want. But the mind is sort of like that. The mind is supposed to serve the soul.
Yes,
left on
that's
its
what I'm
own,
talking
the mind
about.
is unchaste. It's like a woman that will run off and have an affair instead of staying with her husband. You see?
So you see where we're getting at this share. The mind needs to. You see it? How the mind.
The wife of the mind is like the wife of the soul.
Because
and
I'll tell you
she
how
should
I
stay
came
home
to.
And cook nice dishes.
I'll tell you how I came to this. I mean, when we were talking about giving up on material desires, maybe it was just giving up on the idea of buying a car, and then maybe it was the idea of giving up on buying a house. It was about secure living. It's about the fear. When I started removing all these aspects which was attached to the mind and nothing to do with the soul, is when I started thinking of higher things, and I am in that stage where there's still something that I'm stuck with, and I'm trying to overcome that.
We are all in the same situation in various degrees. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
But what you're doing, I mean, you're working at a job. You can work at your job and imagine that you're the servant of your boss, or you could work at the job saying, I am an independent being. I am taking this job. It is giving me skills and intelligence that I didn't have before. I'm exercising my free will. I'm being able to talk with people and being an effective person in dealing with people. These are all good things. And all it is a change. It's a change of consciousness, not a change of activity.
Naranarayan Prabhu, I just want to tell you that if we talk about this majorly in our iṣṭa-goṣṭhīs, I'm sure you're going to achieve the target of the League for 10,000. That's exactly where every individual gets caught up in all the ritualistic process and the religious practices, thinking if I did this, I'm going to get that. If I did this, I'm going to go there. And that's not going to take them anywhere unless they sit down to realize this.
That is pure material mentality. Action and reaction. So Isaac Newton said, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. We in the Vedic culture call it karma. If you do this,
the cause and
that
effect
will happen. Huh? So we want to become
and also,
akarma,
I was saying,
free from karma.
And I was saying it's
not
also
good karma,
to
not
do
bad
with
karma.
cause and effect. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Karma is cause and effect. But the devotee, the soul, you, the soul, my dear Prabhu, you, the soul, are by nature not karma or vikarma. Vikarma means sinful activity that'll drag you down to a lower birth in the next life. Karma is good deeds which will take you up in your next life. In the Kali Yuga, neither of them, you want to go down. There's nothing good happening in Kali Yuga. But there's one thing you can do in Kali Yuga, and that's why Lord Chaitanya gave us the Hare Krishna mantra. It's called akarma. Akarma means neither good nor bad karma. It's transcendental. If you want to know what it's like in Krishna Loka, akarma. There's no karma there.
And I think that happens with service to others.
With what?
Service to Krishna.
Right. Service to others is Krishna, right?
Yeah.
When you serve
in the state of
every other
akarma, then we can use our desires instead of for karma or vikarma. You know, he said, karma, I want to get a better job and I want to enjoy myself. Vikarma, after I get off work, I want to get a drink at a bar. Those are two opposites and they harm each other. But if you're akarma, you do your job and you come home and you're free from the job. You don't have to believe in yourself in terms of the job terms. You just function for the job. You're not being the job.
Okay,
Ramchandra Prabhu, another thing is, I don't agree to the YouTube comment there. It's not a process or training or conditioning, or it's not a lifetime process. It's all about how quickly you sit down to see the light in the dark. That's all.
Okay.
And it did not take me a lifetime to get there.
You are the light.
No, Moses is talking about.
You are the light, and you're covered by the darkness of a body. The body is what Prabhupada says: pus, blood, stool, urine, so many nice things. It's the human body.
So
that's darkness. That's tamagun. If you want sattvagun, that's nicer. But if you want to really see yourself as you are, That's called Aham Brahmasmi. I am the soul. I am the soul, and I have a body.
I just want to say, Ramchandra
Yes.
Prabhu, he says that it requires a lifetime of training, that work never ends. No, if you realize being in Krishna consciousness, you live in Krishna consciousness for a lifetime. So that realization is what is important, and not how to get to Krishna consciousness. Because once you realize, you're going to anyways live through that. But staying in that consciousness is what matters.
But understand that a lifetime for the soul is forever. You're thinking the lifetime means I was born and I'm going to die.
That's the time period of the body there.
Maya. Why don't you drop the illusion that you were born and drop the illusion that you're going to die? It's an illusion.
Prabhu, in that context, Prabhu, when you say it is an illusion and the time play is not in Goloka, why is it not that you believe you're already in Goloka?
Because we're not in Goloka. If you want to be in Goloka, you cannot be there until you have developed an intimate relationship with Krishna known as Rasa, R-A-S-A. Rasa is the interactive relationship between the liberated soul, which you are going to soon become, and Krishna, who is the supreme being. People don't go to Krishna Loka as though they're going on vacation to a holiday resort.
Prabhu, I think this is again a frame of mind.
You don't own anything in Krishna Loka. In Krishna Loka, we are owned by Krishna, and Krishna, in response, if we are owned 100% by Krishna and please him by everything we think, say,
please
or
help
do,
me understand.
He is owned, and we own him too.
Prabhu, please help me understand. Please help me understand. When you do not have the world of Maya, and we are here in whatever loka we are, the earth. So when Maya doesn't exist, are we not already in Krishna Loka? Is Krishna not with us over here?
No. You're in Brahman, but Krishna Loka is a place. It's where Krishna lives. It's like saying, if I'm no longer under Maya, am I living in your house? No, it's your house. If I'm going to come to your house, I must wait for you to invite me. I'm not going to come to your house if you don't invite me.
There's some comments on YouTube, and it's very interesting. Share Prabhu, did you see?
There's a thin line between
I can't see it, Prabhu. Share your screen,
and
please.
bhakti.
Okay.
Anyhow, Shreya, you're on an interesting thing. You're up on a higher platform, and you're becoming accustomed to it, and you're asking the right sort of questions. It will not happen in 1 minute or 2 minutes. Come back more often if you can, when you can. Come back more often, and we'll discuss until you are dancing on your tiptoes in transcendental ecstasy.
You see it? Shreya
As
Prabhu?
a pure devotee of the Lord.
Yeah, Prabhu. Yeah, Prabhu. You should invite him into the Zoom meeting so that
Everyone
he could.
is a pure devotee, but we are covered by Maya, by matter.
I need Ramchandra Prabhu. I think if you're going to chat, then there's not much of an understanding level that we could connect at. So maybe if you could come on to the Zoom call, we would be able to relate to what exactly he's saying, because the interpretation can vary based on how we think. So.
Yeah, Prabhupada gives the Krishna conscious process as a way of training the mind in Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam.
Yes.
So these are disciplines.
Yeah, these are disciplines. So at the time of death, if one is trained up in Krishna consciousness, they will remember Krishna. So this is a system.
And you get your next life based on what you think at the time of death. So yes, I know that.
If you simply think of Krishna at the time of death, it doesn't mean you're going to be in a rasa with Krishna that is like Mother Yasoda or cowherd boys or gopis. If you are only thinking of Krishna at the time of death, you may become a grain of sand or a drop of water. There's all sorts of things in Krishna Loka that don't have a direct kinetic relationship with Krishna. Prabhupada has given us a wonderful opportunity to train ourselves to be in a structural relationship with Krishna called rasa, that we please him in such a way that he reciprocates his pleasure with us, just like men and women. They
Yes.
supposedly they try to please each other, but they
Ra-
don't really
Ramchandra
please
Prabhu?
each other for most of the time.
Yes, go ahead.
To the comments that you're getting on YouTube, I think we are trying to say the fish to realize what water is, and the waves to tell us where the water is. Right? So
We
how
need
long
you
does it
back here
take?
more often, Shreya. You've been gone too long.
Yeah, yeah, Prabhu. Because I sometimes feel, when you have these thoughts of spiritual questions, you need to also think through it. I mean, it's easy to pose a question to someone and just get an answer, but then do we really mean what we ask? Do we know what we're asking?
We
to
are
contemplate
looking
that?
for not just the meaning, but the realization of the meaning.
Yes, that's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. Yes.
We want the
Exactly.
perfection of self-realization, and we're not going to bother with questions and answers except to get to the question of realization. Could I recite
initially,
you a
when I
type?
started with you, when I initially started with you, I was
Yeah.
a whole lot of process thinking and religious practice thinking, which meant I need to do these things,
Oh, I
and
see.
only then will I get that. That's how I was. And,
Well,
and
you're
then
on the
when I
right
asked
track.
you, when I
You're on
asked
the
you,
right
I'm
track,
not
and
able
then
to do
you're in
that.
the right place. Could I recite something for you? It's a tiny poem that I wrote many years ago, but this is
Please,
how I
Prabhu.
feel about
I
hearing
will
your
be
voice
honored.
again. Okay, this is my writing, not Shastra. It would be so nice to see you once again, even though you will not be the same. Even though not seeing you, it will be you again.
Wow, that's amazing, Prabhu.
Yeah. So that's how I feel right
that's
now
fantastic.
about you. It's I like cliches. It would be so nice to see you once again, even though you will not be the same. Even though my eyes, I know that I am seeing you, but not seeing you, it will be you again. So
Prabhu, please
I didn't
send this
quite
on
get it
WhatsApp.
right.
No, you said it very well the first time, so please put it on
Okay,
WhatsApp
well,
for
thank
us.
you. Yeah, so that's it. So we are rejoicing in seeing you again. You are our beloved associate. You are one of the parts and parcels of Krishna that belong in Krishna Loka. You're trying to come to the point of self-realization. And that's a process. And it doesn't subject to thinking, it's subject to experiencing.
Haribol. All right.
So you say,
Thank you so much
we
for
have
the time
we
you
have a
gave.
religious duty here to answer questions that come in on the, explain to Shreya what we do about the answering questions that come in.
She knows that already. I don't have to explain it to her.
We'll just say it so that the people are waiting for us to talk about them or with them or something.
Sure. If they want to.
I'm sure, Ramchandra Prabhu, you need to pose all those questions on the YouTube channel so that people, whoever are tuning in, try to think. I mean, we need to put that question for them to think about, and that's when they will start getting touched upon. It's not an easy task, but then even if we touch one soul, that's a lot.
I mean, that's why Prabhupada recommended distribution of his books. So all these questions, these questions about realization, understanding, Prabhupada answers it.
I'm saying, Prabhu, by distribution, I think those generations had the habit of opening and reading it. But our generations, only when you actually hit it on the head and tell them, hey, think, they're not even going to think about it.
Yes.
So yeah, we need to take it to the next level now.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Prabhupada says that it takes gallons worth of blood to make one devotee. So you have to sacrifice gallons of blood.
Right.
So if we have to do it, this is
I don't know if Christopher Prabhu is still on call, but did he get my question? I'm just curious.
He's not here anymore, so.
Okay.
He's not here.
Oh, people should stick it out. They can.
Yeah, so today was a wonderful discussion. We're approaching 10 o'clock, so we're going to sign out in a few minutes.
No, we can't sign out until we answer the questions. That's our vow.
Yeah,
we can go over. If somebody wants to quit, they can quit. But we have to answer any question that comes in, not necessarily extensively, but we want to honor the people that ask the question so that they will realize that they're not just wasting their energy and their time contacting us, but that we take them seriously, we revere them, and we see them as devotees of Krishna and part and parcel of Krishna.
The share, Prabhu.
You definitely prove it, Prabhu. You definitely have proven that a lot many times already for me.
Right. Well, so you're our very dear God sister.
So, Share Prabhu, was your question, which was very complex, and we discussed it at least, an hour. Was it of any help, or did we get more confused, or what is your end result here?
No, Prabhu. My end result is that I am on the right track is what I believe. But to still get to the light, I just feel I'm in circles. But I know it's probably time taking. I don't know.
Well, Shreya, you've come to the right place, because that's what we specialize in, is the light of the jiva. We are jivas, and that's what we do.
One thing I've realized is, Prabhu,
there's so many philosophical confusions surrounding the nature of the liberated soul. We're not confused because we heard from Prabhupada, as have you. And so we're going to get it straightened out to the point where you will be dancing in ecstasy.
Right.
Sure, you wanted to say something? Go ahead.
I'm surprised people enjoyed it.
As much as I want to agree to the fact that it is a process and it's time taking, I also believe that it almost happens at an instant, and I'm waiting for that moment, and I know it's just around me and it's not happening, so I don't know what else to do.
Actually, it's a process, but it's not. It may take some time.
It's like we're talking on two sides of the coin when we don't realize the coin exists.
I think I understand what you're saying, because in the material world, time exists, therefore it's a process. In the spiritual world, Krishna Loka, time does not exist, so it's instant. But we're struggling in the material world to understand that which is immediate.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to be talking about when you come on next time.
Yes, Prabhu. I hope I've done a little bit of more homework there.
You sound great. You sound liberated.
Okay, Jai. So we'll end it in a few minutes. We have some comments from our devotees in our chat. In our.
Jai still on the
No,
call?
she's no longer on. She's gone.
She doesn't say good night.
So good to see you, Mahaprabhu.
Mahaprabhu,
obeisances to all of you.
Hare Krishna, Jai.
Always good to hear your voice.
Are you still on?
Same here.
Mahaprabhu? Yeah. Hare Krishna. Shreya, it was so nice. We ask about you often,
Always.
Every time I see the WhatsApp message, it's so tempting to hit that button and join in. Just that we get so caught up with our time and work, and we still need to stick with Maya for some time.
Ramachandra, can you explain to her how she can be part of the WhatsApp and listen in without taking part?
She knows how to do it. She doesn't need any explanation in that regard.
Okay, good.
Doing what, Prabhu?
That's wonderful. Hare Krishna.
Hearing the meetings.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so let's end it in a few minutes. We have some comments we want to rattle off from the devotees here, and then we'll end it in maybe 5-10 minutes. So Deborah, the devotee from New York, made a comment. Srila Prabhupada could see us as we are. He was a pure devotee. We are striving to see also by chanting Krishna's holy name. We are in Maya illusion, and Maya is so much stronger than we are. Until we completely love Krishna, we are not pure. Is that okay? She made that comment. And then let's see.
Well, Maya is Krishna is stronger than Maya.
Yes.
In fact, Krishna is so
For a
much stronger
devotee,
than Maya.
that's what she's
He
indicating,
refuses
Prabhu. She's exactly referring to what I was saying. You know, when you become Krishna conscious, there is no room for Maya. Maya is nothing but
Exactly.
another aspect of Krishna himself, because he poses all these problems to see how much we turn towards him and not get caught up. So
Also,
I'm in
we
agreement with
wanted,
what that comment says.
we desired, Shreya, we desired to come to the material world to experience Krishna Loka is real. What we're experiencing in the material world is asat, not real. So Krishna sends us here and kindly, thoughtfully sends Maya Devi to create a world of illusion for us to become bewildered by.
Yes.
Because that's what we are desiring. If we wanted reality, we'd be in Krishna Loka right now. But no, we want to be God ourselves, so we come here to lord it over everything we can grab. You know? But anyhow,
thank you so much for all the time you all have given to me today. I really needed that.
Come on.
Thank you.
Come back again. But stick
Sure,
around for
Prabhu.
the questions if you have time. So Ramachandra, what's your other questions?
All right. So our devotees made a lot of comments on YouTube. So should I read some of them or?
Read them.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay. So
Because
let me share
we
this.
want to give them recognition.
Sure. Our devotees here. So let's see. Hare Krishna, how to join the meeting? I can answer that. Who's making all that noise? Mute them. Okay. Let's see. Where is it? Okay, Christopher. He says, I think the idea is to be engaging the mind constantly in Krishna. And in that way, one can live continuously in Krishna consciousness in day-to-day life. But that takes practice. Okay, Christopher then says, I think that the lady is right when she says that Krishna does not have a human form. Yet devotees say that Krishna does not have a material form. And that is a more accurate thing to say.
I would only say we need to read the chapter 10 of the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna talks about his Vishwaswarupa. When we talk about the Vishwaswarupa, it's not the human form. I do understand in a phase of time, whatever time he was on earth, he may have been in the form of a human, but then it is not limited to being a human, which is why he was able to display so many acts which probably even superhumans cannot do, right? I mean, that is how we need to understand. I'm only trying to say the kind of understanding from the text that Srila Prabhupada has written, it's way beyond the capacity of a common man today to even hear him out properly. So I believe that this group, the Istagosthi group, needs to break it into smaller chunks for them to be able to digest.
But remember, we are made in the image of God. It's not that God is made in our image. God doesn't have a human form.
Why I was saying,
we have
Prabhu,
a form. Our original form is that spiritual form, like Krishna's form. Krishna's form is the original Swarup, you know? And we are more or less bad examples with flesh and bones, example of what those who have spiritual bodies look like in the kingdom of God.
Okay, so let's continue. That is because Krishna has a spiritual form, and the nature of this is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss.
Yeah.
And then
Krishna has an eternal form.
And again, Ramchandra Prabhu, I think I again go back to my initial start of this conversation where I was saying, if we are the soul, a part and parcel of Krishna, then there is so many attributes of Krishna that we all exist with. To realize that is not a time-taking process. It is all about how much effort we put in realizing it that matters. Because if it is a time-taking process, then yes, we can all define that it will take you 2 years. Then I can say, okay, this person can take maybe 3 years. But no, it doesn't happen like that. Every realized soul realizes it almost at an instant. But what is it that defines that instant is the effort he puts in wanting to realize.
That's very,
and every
very nice.
person who wants to realize will be able to realize it only if he has enough thirst to realize it.
That is
and that's
profound.
what we need to work on.
Shri Prabhu,
Krishna.
that's a first-class observation. Because if something takes time, it's material. Because there's no time in the spiritual world. Everything's happening simultaneously in the spiritual world. So if it says, oh, it's going to take a long time, if you're in your body and you're living your body and trying to think about God, yes. But if you want to associate with God, it doesn't take time.
So yes, so Prabhupada gives a definition of what is pure devotional service, and it can happen at an instant, but at the same time, you can turn off the light at the instant also, right?
Which is why you need to work on keeping it on all the time. And that is because of Maya that you tend to get into the aspect of darkness. Because
Maya's
like I
discovered-
said, to get away from darkness, it's almost instantly that you turn on the light and it's gone. It doesn't
Yes.
exist anymore. So,
Yes.
The only
so
reason
it
for
doesn't
Maya
take time
is to
to be
entertain
there.
our body.
Take time. So there you go. You
But
answered
you know
it.
what
Take
Maya
time.
thinks about her role in relationship to us? What Maya thinks
Yeah.
about her relationship to us? She never will sit in front of Krishna. She only will go behind Krishna because she's so ashamed at fooling his parts and parcels with her tricks.
Another
She's
thing
a-
is, another thing is that when the devotees that were associating with Srila Prabhupada, they could see how Srila Prabhupada was on a transcendental platform, managing, writing books, everything. So that association, direct association, which obviously is very, very, very powerful and cannot be underestimated, is, it had a very profound impact on the devotee's consciousness. So we're reading Prabhupada's books, and they associating with Srila Prabhupada, they were living with the person Bhagavad, they're seeing it in action. But we're reading it and trying to analyze it, and through our mental understanding and this, that,
I'll tell you what the process is, Prabhu. When we read books, we tend to associate it based on our educational backgrounds, our family brought ups,
Yes.
the kind of culture we've lived in.
Right.
And all of this is what actually makes the journey difficult. We
Yes.
don't come with an open mind. And that is where we get entangled really quickly.
Yes. So that is why association with self-realized Uttamadhikari is so beneficial. And at the same time, it's very dangerous also. So many people who associate.
Well,
My realization is that, it's better for me to be studying the books right now and trying to understand these things than being in direct contact with him. It's very dangerous also.
Which is exactly why I was saying, when you read the books, you're buying somebody else's realization. I'm not denying that is wrong. I'm saying you cannot be realized by just reading the book, but you have to realize it yourself. And to realize that, you need
just
some
like
aids.
anything-
And these are going to act as aids.
Shreya, if you read any book, everybody, supposing there's a book that's popular book and people read it, every person that reads it has a different experience based upon their own life's experience. And they say, I really like this book. I really can identify with this character. I really think this is a nice place where they live. Oh, I like the paintings that they have on the wall and the illustration. You can say that about a book that you read, but each person that reads that same book has a completely different experience, individual. So that's why when we read Shastra, we are getting ourselves, we're reading about ourselves, even though we're reading about Krishna and his pastimes. Our self is that we are spiritual beings that could be there with Krishna if we weren't so fond of Maya. Okay, so let's get through it. We have to get through those questions before morning, okay?
Okay, so some more, let's see, where was he? Okay, so Hare Krishna, Mata is feisty, let's see, haha, beat the mind with a metaphorical shoe.
Ouch.
Then he's saying Moses Singleton, he's also a devotee practicing Krishna consciousness for, I guess, some time. He's a good friend of mine. It is a process of training the mind to remain situated in and on
You
Krishna.
read that already.
Okay, I read this, right? Okay, let's see.
Yeah, let's get us something new and
After,
fresh.
thanks for sharing.
Okay.
There's
Thank
no
you,
need
Shreya.
to contemplate from there.
Okay. So where are we reading here, Krishna? Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati.
There's no something contemplate. What is that? Complicate. Yeah, from there.
Okay. There's no need to complicate matters. Just keep it simple. Krishna is saying. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that to control the mind, one should beat it with shoes many times just after waking and again before going to sleep.
Yeah, Narayan Prabhu just made a mention of
Yeah,
that.
in this way, one can control the mind. This is the instruction of all the Shastras. If one does not do so, then one is doomed to follow the dictations of the mind.
So when we read these kind of texts, Prabhu, do people really understand what it means? No, we only think or imagine how it would look like. Actually, you take a shoe and you start hitting your mind. That's just metaphorical. So the idea behind such text needs to be gone to the depth of it. I mean, we need to talk about these kind of things. So that's when people realize.
But like if a person has a child, and the child wants to run away, wants to run into the traffic with the cars, he wants to run into the mud and get dirty. All of these things the child may want to do, but the parent is always, it's not beating the child with a shoe or a stick, but the parent is always controlling the child, so the child stays with the parent. Now, if the parent is the soul, the child is the mind, then it's very easy to understand what to do. Everyone has seen a parent with a child, because nobody would be here if they hadn't been children, or many people are parents. So when the parent is standing there, they see that. So consider that the child will do anything it feels like doing if the parent does not say no. So that's the beating with the shoe and the stick, is the parent saying no to the child. No, you come here. No, you stay here. No, don't get into the traffic. Don't start playing with those dogs, just stay here, And
yes.
Does that make sense, Shreya?
Yes, Srila Prabhu was making the point that these things, concepts that are talked about in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada's books, like the statement, needs to be discussed, and how people can apply it practically, and how to understand it and apply it in your everyday life. And
that's with your heart, with your desire.
Yes.
If everyone is an individual, because we're all individually parts and parcels of Krishna. So as individual parts and parcels of Krishna, we can do it our way in relation to Krishna, which will please him.
All right. So here, Moses Singleton Prabhu says, I think we read this, beating the mind means training. Is that clear? And then Moses Singleton says, this is not rocket science. Moses Singleton, someone's agreeing. Very clear, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. What is the question? What question Moses Singleton asked? How I see, I think this is the reply to Rupa's Shreya Prabhu's comment. Oh, I see. Yes, a new approach must be taken for this new generation. You were saying that how the new generation are not interested about these books and stuff.
Yeah,
and reading.
we're coming in after a whole thing has happened.
Yes.
Very complicated situation, and not all of it has been good, but the end result is good, because we have ISKCON. Prabhupada created ISKCON. We have ISKCON. Prabhupada told us to chant Hare Krishna. We're chanting Hare Krishna. There's Sankirtan parties going around all over the place, all over the world. That's because of Prabhupada, in spite of us, in a sense, because of us and in spite of us. But now what we're talking about is the newer wave of devotees. Those new devotees deserve the original ISKCON that Prabhupada created, rather than the one that people turned into some sort of a thing that they could run and manage and make money off of and stuff like that.
Okay. Krishna. Right. So some more. Where was I? Okay. Nice. Love the spirit, Prabhu. And then he says, Ramachandra, I'm with you. She's running herself in circles. By okay, the shoe. The shoe is correct, Prabhu. Wake up and have the shoe ready. Okay, will someone let? Okay, let's see. The Vishwarup was the cosmic form. His personal form was the transcendental in nature, while in the material construct. So, Rupam. Oh no, Sri Prabhu said that Krishna's form, which he showed, the universal form, that is one of Krishna's form. But Moses Singleton Prabhu is saying that the two-handed Krishna form is his original form.
Of course.
Yes.
No, the Vishwarupa form, the universal form, was, if you read the Gita and read the Purport, it very clearly, he wanted to show Arjuna that he is personally everywhere.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that that's where he's not the universal form. He just manifested that to give a symbolic understanding to Arjuna. But if you're a devotee of Krishna, you can know that Krishna is everywhere simply by seeing it, by seeing Krishna with two arms and two legs, playing flute or on the battle of Kurukshetra.
Yes, Prabhu, can I make one last comment here?
Sure.
I just wanted to say one more thing here, Prabhu. So in all of that we are talking, whenever we refer to Srila Prabhupada's books, we have the assumption that a person who's a devotee, who believes in, he might have just got into this and he might have just heard something and something must have triggered him to be a part of it. And maybe he believes this is where he finds answers. And how do we make sure that he doesn't leave this? That is what we need to look at, because what happens usually in spiritual path is we get confused. Where, although the answer is clear and visible and we can understand, to hold on to it and to live with it is difficult. And that is where we are all failing and missing out.
Yeah, but Prabhupada wrote the Bhagavad Gita,
when-
the
when
Srimad
Narayana-
Bhagavatam, the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
when-
That's to keep us from
Yes.
getting confused.
Right,
If
Prabhu, but
nobody
I'm
can
saying
keep
how
us-
many
no
people
one
do
can stop me
actually
from being
read that?
confused. I have to stop myself from being confused. Right?
Correct, Prabhu. Only when you say that, people do realize that that is how they need to think.
Yeah.
They don't even know how to think about these things.
Well,
That's what I'm trying to say.
Prabhupada gave an example that where each one of us is flying, it's like each one of us has a little airplane. You can imagine airplanes maybe the size of a bed or something of that sort. It's a little airplane. We're flying along and we're flying next to each other. We're not in the same airplane. Each jiva is separate and each separate jiva is moving in its own way. But if you see somebody in another airplane that is heading towards a rock or a mountain or a tree, you call on your phone over to the microphone over the loudspeaker over to, hey, wake up, you're falling asleep, there's a tree in front of you, better dodge. And he dodges, or bang, he doesn't dodge. So that's what we do as individuals. We all are flying our own airplane. And when we do that, we can advise others, we can attract others, we can encourage others, but we cannot do the one thing that everybody is obsessed with. We cannot control others.
Oh, and we cannot do their sadhana also, or their thinking for them.
Exactly. We can't do that because that would be controlling them.
Yes. So
don't do it, codependent people are like that. Oh, don't do it. You don't know how to do it. I'll do it for you. Oh, I'll do it for you. Oh, I'll do it for you. No, that's not it. We respect ourselves too much to control somebody else.
Hare Krishna, yes.
And that's where the game of the ego comes in.
He never controlled anybody. He attracted people. He didn't control them. Anyhow, so now any more comments on the?
Yes. Few more comments, then we'll end. Here it's saying Moses Prabhu is saying.
Please share your screen, Prabhu. It's nice to see that.
Okay, yes. Oh, let me share the screen. All right, Moses Prabhu is saying, where was he? Where was it? Everybody has different ideas. That is true. Sam H said, everybody has different ideas. That is true. Moses Singleton, LOL. And then Ashuya saying, nobody leaves Krishna consciousness. And Moses Singleton Prabhu saying, I have been following this path for 20 years and there's no confusion on my part. And devotee saying, Bhakti is like mafia. You can enter, but you can't exit.
Yeah, but that guy that says he's been following for 20 years, if you go up to him and pinch him when he's not watching, he'll shriek because he still thinks he's his body.
Okay, you don't need to do anything apart from chanting and eating prasadam. Krishna said.
Was it really Krishna?
Okay,
Yeah.
from today's
Well,
discussion, yeah.
You know what Lord Chaitanya
Yeah,
said on the
I think-
topic? He said, chant, wait. Lord Chaitanya said, chant and dance. And when you're tired, take prasadam.
Okay. Kaushal Prabhu, you wanted to
Yeah.
say something, so we don't want to cut you off. So please go ahead.
Yeah, Prabhu. Actually, from today's discussion, two things were predominant. One was about which Naranarayan Prabhu mentioned about renunciation, and the second thing was about beating the mind. For many days I am arguing the same thing. See, this is a process. The process has two aspects: beating the mind and renunciation. The same is present in every school of religion, every training center, be it Islam
Perfect.
or Christianity, or many other folds within the Hinduism. So wherever these two aspects of the training are of top notch, then realization will happen. But we will not see the underlying stuff, and we keep arguing. As Roosevelt said, very low minds talk about people, average minds talk about events, and great minds talk about ideas. So when we start talking about ideas, all this religious violence, friction, all this will just evaporate, right? This was my understanding.
And Lord Chaitanya put it in a nutshell.
I want to,
Wherever you go, whomever you meet, simply speak of Krishna.
Okay. I'd like to
That
make
way
a
you can
point.
get out of the good and the bad of every other conversation.
Prabhupada's books are written in a scientific process. So Kaushal Prabhu was talking about renunciation. Yes, renunciation is there, but renunciation has a specific definition in Krishna consciousness. And if you read Prabhupada's books, renunciation is answered. There's a famous verse that anything progressive for your Krishna consciousness, you should not give up, like that. So renunciation, not just any renunciation, it has a specific definition.
Yes, Prabhu.
Renunciation is a question of giving up the sense of proprietorship or ownership.
Yes.
If I'm a king and I've got
renunciation at a higher level would talk about how we need to give up on our egoistic brain, and everything to do with the mind is all to do with the ego. And ego sometimes, I think, is also in reference to the Maya.
The mind is not supposed to be with the ego. Ego is the body. The mind is supposed to be with the jiva, with the soul. You want to know how to connect with the soul? Get the mind to come back home to the soul. If my mind comes to where I am, then I know what the mind is up to.
You see, every
Right?
training center, every training
The mind belongs to me. I don't belong to the mind.
Yes. See, this aspect of renunciation and vairagya is not something new, Krishna talks about two aspects of mind control, abhyasa and vairagya. Not just there, even prior to this, if you look into the Yoga Sutras, there also, in fact, this verse where Krishna talks about abhyasa and vairagya is actually a direct lift from the scripture Patanjali Yoga Sutras. The same system is everywhere. In the Islam, if you look into, there also they stress upon renunciation, sacrifice.
Renunciation of what?
Renunciation of everything that entangles you. What is the meaning of vairagya? Vairagya means the material world entangles you. So that's why disentangle yourself. What is the way? Renunciate. Just like, one person was explaining, when you buy any product on Amazon, at first you will not simply grab it. You will look into the reviews, right? The same thing. Everything in this universe, you need to review it before trying to seek it. Why do you need to review? So that your mind will not become entangled. And this is not something new. Lord Buddha is speaking 2,500 years ago. He speaks about,
Prabhu, everything you need
I think the
will be
argument is
given
not
to you by
about
Krishna. If you're
Prabhu, I want to
hungry,
just say
Krishna
one
will
thing here
supply you
about.
with food.
So sorry. I just wanted to say that it's not about which philosophy is talking about it or who is older and who is new. It's all about each individual understanding it. So whether you're born in the 20th century, 19th century, 18th century does not matter. And who's talking about it?
Nice.
Everybody is talking about it differently. That's fine. We are following a particular philosophy because we know this works, and that's all that we want to talk to others about. It's not in comparison. It is not to put somebody over on top of the other or say that we are better. It is all about making one individual realize. That's all that matters.
Good point, Shreya.
Exactly, that
Excellent.
is what I am saying. Every time we say Shiva is a
So you're
demigod,
getting the essential point that you were asking about, which is the sense of the jiva being you. You're talking like a jiva right now, I would like to mention to you. Okay?
yes, yes, please.
You're talking like a jiva because you're talking from realization, not from thought, speculation, or fantasy or anything like that. You're talking from you, the soul.
Okay, Kaushal Prabhu, you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Yes, please. See, every time when we say the Shiva devotees are demigod worshippers, no, they are not. They are also into the same thing. Every morning, they also wake up 5 a.m., they beat their mind. They also practice renunciation. Everywhere, even the Muslims, the Islamists, why have they woken up at 5 a.m. to do their namaz? 5 times they are doing their namaz. What is that they are doing? They are training their mind. Everybody is
Prabhu,
training.
with that, what is your point? What is your point about talking about anybody else? We are talking about you, and it's all about you. That's all that matters.
On this platform,
Sure.
I have repeatedly argued that please do not put any other systems down. And that was the only reason I came here.
Well,
Please.
are you talking about people's behavior? If you're talking about behavior, then you're talking about their body, right?
No, I'm not talking about their behavior, but I am talking about, this world has got many systems and we need to respect that. That's all.
We don't need to be concerned with it. If they have a system, they can use it. When Lord Chaitanya appeared, all religion and philosophy was swept off the earth. Unfortunately, people haven't realized that yet, right yet. He's the Yuga of it. God has come here and said what to do in the middle of Bengal, of all places. So that's all we need to know. If God says do it, then we do it. If they say, well, I belong to this religion or that religion, this philosophy, this race, forget it. Just give it all up and chant Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada has a quote. I'll share it on the screen. So this is my comment to Kaushal Prabhu, because he likes philosophy and he's into different sides and different different.
Well, there are many philosophies.
Okay.
But there's only one
To
God.
also say something on what Kushal Prabhu said about respecting other philosophies. I think before you respect a philosophy, you respect the individual soul itself. And when you identify another with just the soul, then there is no more philosophy that can be attached to it. And which is why I was even saying, when we are talking about clothes, it does not matter once you realize yourself as the soul.
Exactly.
I think that's what I'm trying to say here.
Good point, Shreya.
Prabhupada saying here that someone was talking to him about, do you follow Buddha? Some kind of conversation here. Then Prabhupada's conversation. Now, I'm not trying to put Kaushal Prabhu down or anything. Kaushal Prabhu, he likes philosophy, but he should stick to one branch of philosophy, either Gaudiya Vaishnavism.
That's okay, Prabhu.
Huh?
I would say it's okay. If he
I
goes
know,
wherever
but
he wants to, he'll still get to the same point. And that's why I'm saying philosophy is again an aspect of definition here, which means I define it this way and they define it in another way, but we all are
That's
practicing
fine.
the same thing. That's all.
And nowadays, if you chant Hare Krishna, you'll get there quicker than anybody. And if anybody wants to take a longer time, go ahead, take a longer time. But they don't need to. Just chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And they can immediately reach the siddhanta or conclusion of all philosophy and all religion, because the whole point of philosophy and religion is to be self-realized. And who said that? Immanuel Kant. He said, I think, therefore I am. Okay. So do it.
I think this is like saying when you're in class 1, you're learning the alphabet. And after you've learned the alphabets, you want to keep doing the alphabets over and over again, even if you move to class 10. Does it make any sense? No. So once you get realized, it does not matter which philosophy made you realized or what you're following, but it's all about staying in the realization that matters.
Yeah, but
And the
self-realization is very
realization, we call it Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. Well, that's nice, but it's not that relative. Because of all the religions on earth, how many gods are there in existence? How many gods are there?
One God,
One.
Nice.
Krishna.
Hare
And how many
Krishna.
religions are there?
Billions.
And what are they doing to each other?
Killing each other.
So
Right.
what is the use? Better
No
than
use.
Hare
Exactly.
Krishna.
No use.
Shraya, they're better off coming with
Right.
us. and
Which is
chant
why
Hare
I was saying,
Krishna,
Prabhu,
and don't
in this
kill-
generation,
don't
people
kill
need to
yourself.
realize everything at the soul level as an individual and not define it by any other parameter. You don't need
No,
to
but
define
the
by
only way you
race,
can do that is
creed,
to be a
caste,
devotee of
color,
Krishna.
whatever ways you can differentiate. There is something that is still the same for all of us, whether
Yeah,
you're a plant
but-
body or an
but
animal body.
it's
There is
true,
still
Shraddha,
something
but
that is
it's not
same.
quite that. It's not quite that uncomplicated, because if you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna is God. If you chant Om Namo Buddhaya, you're not chanting to Krishna, you're chanting to Buddha. If you Allah Akbar, then you're chanting to Allah. But it won't help you, because Allah and Buddha and all of them, they're ultimately, if they lead you anywhere other than to hell, they will lead you to Krishna. If they're real, they'll lead you to Krishna. So that you might as well stick with Krishna. Krishna is not a relative God. He is the original source of life.
It's like we are all arguing on the names of water, but when water is the same no matter who drinks it. That's all.
No, but no, that's not quite like that, Shreya. It's not that Krishna's name is a relative thing. Krishna means all attractive. That means all forms of God end up with Krishna, not somebody else. Krishna
Correct,
is the supreme.
Prabhu.
Yeah.
Correct.
There's
That is because
there's no
Prabhu.
other kingdom of God except Krishna Loka. And all
Right.
the religions on earth are trying to figure out somewhere how to buy their way in, or sneak their way in, or fight their way in, and kill their way into the kingdom of God. But that's not how it works. In this day and age, chant Hare Krishna, you go back to God, end of story.
Prabhu.
Haribol.
It's
Okay.
not, it's not relative. If you chant to
Yes.
if you chant to Allah, it will not give you the same result as chanting Hare Krishna. It simply won't.
So yeah, Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada, the way he presents this Krishna conscious philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's very scientifically presented and it has very clear definitions. So I think some of that will take some time to understand and realize. Like, for example, I want to read this before we end it here. So for the devotees here, and they can think about this. And this is a very example of what I want to say. This is a very famous verse that is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and this is from the Nectar of Devotion. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain, through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. So if one wants to be a devotee, they should at least understand these things, the definition.
And that statement clearly means withdraw the mind from the body, because all of that is saying profit or gain through fruitive activities. That all pertains to the body. But if you withdraw the mind, then you've accomplished the purpose of that shloka.
Even philosophical speculation is not recommended here,
Well, that's also material.
Yeah, Krishna himself says if philosophical speculation doesn't take you to Krishna bhakti, then it's useless. It's just,
right.
Nonsense.
The thing we should ask ourselves is, why should I do something that's useless?
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Krishna consciousness has a very defined, what can you say? Defined definition is very, very clear. And Prabhupada presented it in a scientific way. So I think.
Could I give a quick little anecdote about Sanatana Goswami?
Sure.
That pertains. There was this guy that went out in life, and he said, I only have one life to live, and I want to have the most valuable, you may know the story. I want to have the most valuable thing. So he spent his life like, going here, that's not this, not that, trying to find the most valuable thing. So finally, he heard that there was this yogi or sannyasi, Sanatana, that had the most valuable thing. And so he said, I want that. So he went up to the most valuable thing, and it was a touchstone. He had a touchstone. Because if you have a touchstone, you can have whatever you want, right? You touch it and you ask for something, you get it. So he went through life trying to find a touchstone. He finally found one Sanatana Goswami had. So he goes up to Sanatana Goswami and said, excuse me, I heard you have a touchstone. He was rich. I think, oh, how much you want for it? You know, you're a poor guy, you're sitting there in your robe on the ground. Well, maybe you'd like to have a sofa. Here, I'll give you a bunch of money. You can have it, and I'll get the touchstone from you. And Sanatana Goswami said, yeah, I have a touchstone. He says, well, where do you have it? Can I see it? Yeah, it's over in the garbage heap over there, in the garbage dump. In the garbage dump, okay. So he gets a description, and he goes over there and he finds the touchstone. He picks it up and he brings it back to Sanatana Goswami and said, what would you like for it? I mean, I would like to have it. What would you? Oh, take it. He says, you have the most valuable thing and you want me to take it? And so he did. And he took it. He was going down the road mile after mile until suddenly it occurred to him. Here's this great saintly person. I'm looking for the most valuable thing. And I was conceiving it was a touchstone. Whenever you touch, you put, a touchstone, you put iron on it, it turns into gold. Or put mud on it, it turns into gold. Whatever you do, it turns into gold. It's the most valuable thing. You can't stop it. You could become the richest man in the world if you keep touching it all the time with stuff. And he said, but he put it in the garbage heap. He said, he's holding out on me. He said, the son of them is holding out on me. So he went back reproachfully with the touchstone in his hands and came to Sanatana and said, I think you're cheating me. Sanatana looks at him with surprise. What? You wanted a touchstone? You've got the touchstone. No, I said I wanted the most valuable thing. Yes. Well, you said you wanted the touchstone and you thought it was the most valuable thing. Yes. But obviously, if you don't want it and you put it in the garbage, it could not be the most valuable thing at all, could it? Sanatana Goswami said, well, and so the man said to Sanatana Goswami, he puts down the touchstone and said, I want the most valuable thing. Not the touchstone. You tricked me. No, he said you tricked yourself. But he didn't have to say that. He knew it. What's the most valuable thing? So Sanatana Goswami taught him to chant the Hare Krishna mantra.
Haribol. Jai.
You see? So that was to say, all these things that people want out of religion, money, wealth, power, women, armies, next life, better than this life, whatever it is they're looking for, they want the holy name. And they're settling for a stupid touchstone that will give them unlimited gold. Yuck. So anyway, that's the end of the story.
All right. So thank you very much to all the devotees for participating. It has been a lovely night. We had a wonderful discussion online. Our groups made so many comments. And I hope.
Did you finish the list of comments?
Yeah, yes, I did finish the list. So please, to our devotees watching online, please join us. It will be wonderful to have you speak and share your realization.
If we have so much fun and have so many discussions because of your comments, just imagine what it would be like if you're here.
Yes. So please join us next time, tomorrow.
And don't be a stranger, Shreya.
Tomorrow is Sunday, and Shreya.
Nobody is a stranger if we are Krishna conscious.
Very well. All right.
Hare
What did
Krishna.
she say? What did she say?
She's beautiful.
Nobody's what?
We
What
love
did
her.
she say? Yeah,
No one's
what
a
did she
stranger.
say?
No one's a stranger if we're in Krishna consciousness.
Exactly, because we're all part and parcel of the same person.
Hare
So if you want to
Krishna.
know how can I find myself as the soul, find Krishna. You're part and parcel of Krishna.
We miss you,
If you
Shreya.
find Krishna, you'll find yourself. You look for yourself, you'll find a touchstone.
Hare Krishna.
That's actually how I came to Krishna consciousness. I was angry at a picture of Radha and Krishna. I was saying, how come you're having so much fun? I have my body stops me from having the fun that my mind is capable of having. My mind is capable of wonderful things. Like in my case, it was a romance, ex-girlfriend.
That's where I will again ask you, are you the mind or the body?
Okay, so we don't want to continue and get it any longer. We're going to save some for tomorrow. Please join us tomorrow at the same time, 8 p.m. Continue the discussion. And the devotees watching live on Facebook and YouTube, please join us. You're very, very welcome. And please, if you want to get in contact with us, there's a link in the description to our WhatsApp group. Everyone is there. They can join that, and then they can message us, call us, and anything else.
You go to WhatsApp, it's League for 10K, right?
Yes, yes.
Go
Thank you
League
very
for 10K on WhatsApp, and you can join us.
Thank you very much.